We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, welcome back. 2 o'clock on a Monday afternoon that's turning into a bit of a red afternoon if you are looking at tech specifically. It was very obvious very early on this morning that it was relatively weak, the NASDAQ specifically, but the NASDAQ 100 and big tech mostly to the downside this afternoon. We'll get into a few of them, discuss a little bit on why after such a monstrous couple of weeks here for big tech right across the board. But there it is. Yeah, 0.65 right now for the NASDAQ in negative territory. It's the Dow that leads 0.82 back to the high side, 0.31 for the S&P 500. Huge monstrous move here for crude oil as well. About 5 and change % right now for crude oil in positive territory. So that needs an update, but you get the idea. Anyways, moving in the right direction. Yeah, we've had a bit of a sell-off throughout the midday here for cryptocurrencies, now down 2.4 for both Bitcoin and Ethereum. What a morning it was for Bitcoin and Ethereum and individual related stocks as well. That is how the overall board is shaping up this afternoon. It looks very green, but only 0.25% when all is said and done. So the green that is on here, not overly large, to say the least, in one direction. CCL jumping off the board there at the top, if you're wondering. They reported this morning, didn't make things any better on the call, 5.6% to the downside for Carnival off of earnings, dragging NCLH beside it there, along with it into negative territory. Etsy down 2.3, notably weak here throughout the day as well. There's energy, the entire group positive. I lied, there's one. EQT Corporation is negative 0.7 though. The rest though, really nice moves for all of the producers, 3, 4, and 5% in some cases right across the entire group. FRC back to just 10%. Remember, it was up 30 plus in the pre-market on that SVB news that came across late in the day yesterday with some of their assets being sold off. But nice day for the banks anyways. JP Morgan up 3%, WFC up 3%. We'll talk about a few of these coming up here. It's Bank of America, if you're looking at the big banks leading the way, 4% to the upside. So pretty good look. Industrials higher, healthcare, consumer staples, materials all higher. This is tech right now. It's about 50-50. Semiconductors notably weak. Some of the software makers positive, but unable to offset. Yeah, the big names, as I mentioned, to start things off there, 1%, 1 full percent for Apple. To the downside as we get into the final 2 hours of a Monday afternoon. Hope yours is going well. A ton of opportunities this morning. We were discussing a number of them, including some of the big tech names and why we should be looking at them on the long side. Turns out that wasn't the right idea, but let's get started, shall we? We'll jump into a bit of a review as we do, as always. Touch on some of the opportunities, have a look at how we approach them. Neil is here this afternoon. He's going to lead us off.
Welcome. Trade of the Day is always brought by Day Trade the World. It's going to be NVIDIA today. Quite frankly, the way the market was reversing, you could have had any short up at the top and it was going to work out for you. But you have to have a plan. You got to know the symbols you want. And this was going to set up pretty nicely. It would have been nice if it had gone to 275, but it didn't. And this is sometimes, keep it simple, right? 15-minute chart. This is the last 3 days of trade, including today. And you're going to see this is 271. Wick high at the open at 271 on Friday. Bottom, 264. So what are we looking at this morning? We don't get any kind of a move into the big resistance at 75, which is multi-day resistance as well, but you have a wick top to 71, and you end up with a 64 bottom. So, I mean, it's not really all that complicated what you want to do here. Now, when I always look at that opening trade, if you don't get the first flush, didn't get it here. I liked a few other names initially. I was hoping NVIDIA would go to 75. It doesn't. It goes right down and tests 67. Be patient. If you like the short beneath a certain level, that doesn't mean you have to take every short all the way up here. It reaffirms that high. Once it reaffirms that high beneath that 70, 71, we grab the over-under short. We're able to take some as it pops the pre-market high, get some underneath. We scalp into VWAP, and from there, it's where once we've taken the scalp trade, you got to ask yourself, where do you think it's going to go? Now, we had the 67 level, which I think was pretty significant going back into Thursday, and then you've got your 64 at the bottom. If it's going to trend, that's how far we think it's likely to head into the downside. So when it breaks 67, I put a trailing stop for that channel, end up getting kind of wicked out there when it broke that channel to the upside, and then there's a flush into 64. It gets right down into 64. Now, granted, I did reverse, head into the long at 64, and did not give it all the way to VWAP in 67. That was a bit of a mistake. Take some out in front of 65, and then allow myself to get wicked out. I'm thinking it's a downward trend. Oh no, it's not going to continue into VWAP. We end up getting out of the long a little bit early, but it ends up right at that same key level, 67. You've got the 70 top. You've got 67, you've got 64. You don't have too much to work with there. That's complicated. You just looked at the price levels from last week, Thursday and Friday. Give your support and resistance. If it breaks, you know where you're wrong. A lot of times, the most important thing is, if I'm wrong, do I know where? And I knew exactly where we're wrong. We're wrong when it takes out that high. Easy short to hold all the way to the bottom. Reverse to long is optional. You got to get out at that low, but certainly gave you the opportunity to get those longs off 64. And a lot of names in the market were like that today. If the market wants to be inside of a range or play inside of a range out of a couple of days, then you want to make sure that you're holding for those levels so you get the bigger winners. That's why it's your trade of the day on NVIDIA. And as always, check out the QR code below and start out with Day Trade the World.
Ton of strength lately in some of the chip names, but a little bit different story so far today for NVIDIA, AMD, as we saw on that board. A lot of the chip makers to the downside when all is said and done. Make sure you grab that every single day, guys. We send it right to your inbox. Every morning has everything you need to know on it in the pre-market. This was the main note of the morning. We'll talk about the banks to kick things off, as we did this morning as well. Back in focus this morning, FRC was the big gainer, was the most active as far as pre-market movers are concerned. That is Sean's screen, I want to say. Thanks, Brad. FRC was by far the biggest mover and the most active in the pre-market this morning after news comes out that the FDIC has successfully come up with a deal to sell off some of SVB's assets. So not necessarily an all clear by any stretch of the imagination in this group, but was enough, it would appear anyways in the morning, to give us a little bit of a boost as far as these are concerned. Still, guys, at this point, it's actually some of the bigger banks that ended the morning anyways, the best off.
Yeah, and look, the entire group is up. If you look at what's up today, I mean, it's basically it's like a who's who of like what's not tech. And you know, the banks did a really good job. You talk about like JP holding it up, not all the regional ones, but when the market's testing lows, actually JP's rolling over a little bit, but JP Morgan up that 3%. I mean, I could show you guys BAC. You could look at any one of the ETFs will look pretty strong. 4% here on BAC in particular. Now there might be, we're kind of coming into some interesting levels on some of these, and we're not there just yet. But if you look at kind of the last, come on, load up. Now BAC doesn't want to go any further. Okay, well, you can get an idea. The 30 level and 29 level are pretty big on BAC. I think there's probably a recovery point that we get to with these banks where it's fadeable. But right now, I don't think you want to bust that trend that we have starting out on Friday when they caught the bottom. Essentially, it's a straight line to the upside in most of the major banks. And this is with a lot of the deposits that were flowing from small to large banks slowing down, quite frankly. I didn't really I had one trade that I wanted, and I picked FRC. It'll look like a blip, but I lost like 50, 60 pennies on it. Looking for the long off this support around 15. It broke down. I said I won't re-enter this unless it gets down to the support at about $12 from Friday. So it was a one and done for me. The one I liked didn't really hold up to the upside. And obviously, that's a risk-reward play. Like, it probably has the most room to run if it were to recover, but it's also the weakest name of the group. So that's the reality. Like, you want those explosive moves to the upside. It's likely to happen in a name that'll have a little bit more risk on it. So FRC was the wrong one to go for today. That was kind of like my morning hit was on that FRC. But I thought it was worth the shot long, and it proved to be a volatile name. And that 17 break. Sometimes if you like a break, don't get cute about it. Only take the long if it breaks the level. You don't always have to get out in front of it by getting a cute price. It never broke 17. Quite frankly, that's been a resistance for a half a week here, and probably will be so until it breaks, and I'll probably short it the next time I see it.
Yeah, it's been welcome back, everybody. We just got a last little piece here. We've been short AMD here from 97. We just took it all the way out down here into the 50s. It was a great trade as we're getting lighter on it as this market's trying to battle back. I just got to adjust my script order now to get out of the rest. So, all right, all good. Let's talk about the banks a little bit. We talked about some of the levels that we liked earlier, and unfortunately, hold on a second, I still got to All right, there we go. Set up for AMD. I just was making sure that because I'm going to get out at 97 if it breaks. I just want to make sure we don't have too much more exposure to that in case that does happen. But all right. Look, I was waiting for Wells Fargo to get up to 39. That's not there yet. So that's going to be a nothing trade for me right here. The trade that, and I got out of some of this on Friday, and I think I told you guys on that 126 break, I think we wound up getting, it was a 125 number that we wound up getting. But today, now you're up 3% back on JP Morgan. So look at this, huge move up, and look where we stopped at, 126 again. That's been a pretty key level there for JP Morgan. So yeah, I kind of feel bad that, we got out of a little bit of our position, but we were long from 108, so I think it was okay. But here's JPM again, just on the daily chart, just trying to show us, this is that 126 area. It doesn't look huge because there's so many wicks, but if you look at a 3 minute and so on and so forth, and that's also where this 200 period is here on the daily chart. So, you're right here at 125.75. It looks like this name wants to get going. But are we going to talk about SI's on there again? I was going to say another bank that's really moving around today is SI. You already talked about FRC. I mean, other than that, man, the bank that was really solidified last week, of course, was Charles Schwab. Not really the same bank as all these other places, of course, but with the CEO coming in and buying 50,000 shares, putting his own liquidity in this name, they've really held, but then you're almost dipping down below that as well. Today's bottom of $52 has been the bottom of this name, despite some of these wicks to the downside. So the best close here for Charles Schwab was right here, 52.23. So if you use that 52.23 area as a level, this morning, 54, right back into where we were on Friday, 53. So Schwab holding up nicely as well to the upside here. So I think that there seems to be some bank strength. The one trade that I had on the banks that I didn't wind up doing anything on was FAS. We are looking at this name up here at 55, and that didn't do anything besides the pre-market getting near there. So yeah, we have some trades here that we can make on the afternoon show here. But for me, I'm thinking I'm going to hold off on the majority of these banks.
Yeah, more to come, no doubt, on this group as far as headlines are concerned. Danielle Shea is coming up at 3 o'clock or thereabouts this afternoon. We'll get her take on this entire mess and how she's approaching it. She's also really excited because we're getting back to earnings season coming up next month. So we'll talk big tech as well coming up here in a sec with Miss Shea in 45 minutes or so. Here's SI. There was a really nice push out of the gate this morning through this high from Friday after that monstrous day. But a double top doesn't really get any clearer than that this morning, guys. We test this 240, 250 area a couple times and then break back to the downside. 2, though, seems to be pretty good support.
It has been. Actually, I think the support's at a different level. I was saying in the midday show, I was asked the question, what do I think about it? And I went back to this level here, that was that 170 to 175. And we had that short that day. And of course, when it happened on Friday, that same level was the first level I shorted and lost. It actually consolidated there and broke higher. It then broke down from that same level. It made the bottom at the open at that same price level with a 175 bottom. Now, again, just like on Friday, I shorted into the move. That took the hit. It was 220 was the first top, Friday's high, and the next level we said was going to be 250. I said if 250 broke, I thought it could get to $4. It obviously never happened. It stalled at 245. I shorted 41s, and I shorted 39s. I'm still in, 38, sorry. I'm still in a piece of it. Really not that much. We're just in the last piece looking for that 180 level. It could still roll over, and if it did, I would think it's around that 215 to 220, that Friday's high. So a little better than Friday, where I was in it 4 times to the short side before getting the top. I shorted one level, then I shorted the second level. The second level worked. But this might not be anything. For the longs, it's held the right level, but it has to get back above that 220. If it gets back above Friday's high, that 250 break and squeeze play is certainly going to be in play for Silvergate. For now, it looks pretty good. I don't want this getting past 220, what I'm holding. And if I re-enter it, it has to be failing at the 220 level. So a little bit better discipline on SI, not taking it 5 or 6 different price entry points. Just working off the 2 key ones. And never forget, this is 70 to 80% short. So in the event that it takes 250, like what I'm getting at, if you weren't watching the morning show, which you should be, this is 250. The next real levels up aren't until you get to 3 and 4. If anything, 420 is a monster level here. It's just it really could squeeze. I know it's probably going to 0, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it can't make relief rallies before that. We saw it with Revlon. We saw it with Bed Bath & Beyond. So yes, I like the shorts in this almost every day, but you got to pick your spots and have it out.
Could have had a lot more of that if we just gone SI. We are 3 cents away from that 170 fill there. But what that Yahoo was for was this Yahoo right here, just shorted again AMD at that same price of 93. First out 83, next out 80, next out 75. So right there, we're putting in some more cash on this AMD short. We'll hold. We'll see if we can get it back into here. Our best fill before was 40s. Let's try to respect some of these bottoms, 67 and change. So let's put something here in the 70s, and then we'll go down into the 60s again and just leave it and see if we, here we go. Come on. See if we can get another fill down there for this. All right, so SI, I was, again, 3 pennies away from having the absolute bottom. Like Neil said, if you're not here for the morning show, then you definitely should be, because I called, and I think it was just based on these levels. It was nothing, just the close there on Friday, 170, and then some consolidation there a little bit below 170, between 160 and 170. So I was sitting here at 170, flat, and then the bottom there was 176. So we missed it by a little bit, but we could have had that long really early, and then it just kind of blew up to the top here. I still think it's worth trying, so watch out if SI comes back in. All right, so good. AMD, we may get taken out, man. I'm not going to take it again. Just came all the way back up. We got out of exactly half, so hopefully that can hold out. And then just a quick update on our Apple trade. If this breaks that level right here, 55, then we're going to get out. We're short at 160 still from Apple. This was the biggest trade I told you. It was the most amount of shares I had all day on any stock, was right there on Apple at 160. So obviously when it flew all the way to the downside, we've been making a lot of cash on that. So we're going to get another piece here very soon as it breaks above 158.55. We'll get out of one more piece. And here goes AMD to the upside. We've already adjusted our stop order, but we don't want to get punched into more shares here as we already got out of half of this trade. But AMD looking like it wants to break the top here.
All right, I showed you this chart this morning. If you joined us in the pre-market, and again, as the guys were saying, if you're not doing that, I'm not sure where you are. This is basically the overall S&P 500, both equal weighted and just the S&P by itself. So 0.5 downside, negative 5.3 downside. This is since March 8th, which was the first day we heard about SVB. Since then, the NASDAQ composite up to 2.1%, Amazon 4.5%, Tesla, Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Meta, and Alphabet anywhere from 4.5% to 12% at the bottom there. So we were talking relative strength with these ones today, given that I just saw Google, since the beginning of the year, guys, touch that 20% level again to the upside. From low to high, essentially. The NASDAQ, if you missed it this morning as well, got to that 20% low to high mark as well before turning on a dime, and now is downside, obviously. So a little bit of relative strength overall, but maybe some profit taking today.
Oh, yeah.
What are we talking about? Oh, big
look,
tech?
If what we saw was like weakness in the banks, and apologies for a quick second there, because I'm eating one of, like Shreve makes these fantastic protein bites. The thing is, they're delicious, but they're kind of chewy, right? So I just had one and realized I should wait until I'm not going to have to talk, so I'll do that. But they're absolutely delicious. Look, if the banks are going to be strong, and we just had a rally sort of in the banks and maybe money coming out of tech, where tech was a safe haven, at least the money-making tech was a safe haven when the banking sector was looking weak, it made a lot of sense that there was going to be some fades today. Now, admittedly, we had NVIDIA short, but let's be real. I wanted Meta long off those Friday lows here in the afternoon. And we had it early. I ended up getting stopped out, enter right back in when it wicked out, but it only carried through to like 205 change. And I always say, like, when in doubt, zoom out, because the structure is pretty clear here. If you have the right levels, the long can work. But if you don't, like, you're just getting run over on the way down. And if there's a mistake for me on Meta, it's not recognizing fast enough that it was rejecting this area. And once it held through 205, it was a trend to the downside. I never worked that trend. However, it is showing you now a double, kind of like this double top at 203, which if the market breaks out in the afternoon, it's going to have to get through 03. I like that for a short trade. So it was Meta and NVIDIA that I traded today. I was in and out of Netflix pretty quick, but like every single day I missed a breakout on Netflix and then just kind of take a scalp trade chasing it after to get a couple of bucks, but not willing to go too much at the highs. Even Netflix came all the way back turning red. And this was the strongest of those tech names this morning, so not able to hold up there, Netflix. I'm looking at to 267 will be short on NVIDIA if I can get it. And then obviously just showing you guys that level on Meta, like in that 203 for a short. That's for this afternoon. If they break out, got to be open to an idea of a reversal.
All right. Yeah, thanks for that. I mean, big tech has been, I mean, if that's not in my wheelhouse, we've been talking about, that's all I've been trading here for 3 years pretty much, is big tech names. And I love them, and they've been trading really well recently. I mean, including, we've already talked about Apple. We absolutely loved that play. Not only did we love Apple play, but if you're going to see on right here, 158 long is what we wrote down here for Apple. So we went long early, took it out, then went short 160. Look at the bottom of the day, 158. So that's brought to you by the sticky note one more time here as I try to plead for Peter Schiff. He's going to be coming on tomorrow. But right here, if you go to the profile and you go here and you go here and you go down there and you talk about, we'll talk about Google in a minute, but 158 right there, the long for Apple. So that's where we got out, and now we are out of Apple. We only have one little small piece left. Let's talk about a trade that the second name, most profitable name on the show today. Apple number one, Amazon number two, and that's because of this. So we went long on Amazon early, boom, boom, off 98, up to 99 and change, off again. Then it breaks and we get out. So this is why it's number one. How could you be number two name on the show when you've only been long? It's because you have stops, and there's a stop right there. But look what just happened. We just made our way back to VWAP. How nice. So I'm going to short that play now back into VWAP against 98.40. So again, it's a 1 minute chart, but then I sort of zoom back out here to the 3 minute, and whoops, hold on a second, we have that bad wick here. Let me just zoom in right here one more time. Right into here. So these bottoms, 98.40. I just want to go short, like that's the top there, 98.30. So I want to go short into this. We'll take one more fill around 30, and then if it holds, it holds. But for now, that's the play. But the NASDAQ, it's just breaking out of this outside range that we had this afternoon. So if it does break out of that, then we'll get out of this Amazon trade and reassess. But yeah, man, it's been another great day. We're looking to get some more short Amazon right there. I could go on and on. We have one losing trade today. It's NVIDIA. And it's embarrassing because NVIDIA wind up cracking lower. We made just as much money on AMD as we lost there on Amazon, but here's the short in NVIDIA that we had right before this collapse. So we were short into here, 267, 268. Unfortunately, we got out when it broke 268.50, and then the high was 269er. So if I would have held it, welcome to $4, but we did not. So NVIDIA, the only red scratch on the board for me here. Oh, we missed that. We were waiting for a little bit more there on Amazon. We just missed it. We're at 30s, went to 26. Okay, let's see if this can come down. First out, 98. Next out, 97.90.
All right, let's go on to Tesla. During lunchtime, there was this note that came out from the company saying they're going to offer now 10,000 free supercharging miles to sell Model S and X by the end of the quarter. That's according to Electrek there. So if you are in the market, Sharif, for either of those, you get 10,000 free supercharging miles now to go along with that, which apparently is the only network of chargers in the U.S. that really actually works. The Charge America or whatever it's called doesn't really work. Anyways, that's a story for another day. Barclays also with this note this morning in the pre-market talking about Q1 deliveries going to beat estimates, so pretty positive, 425 units they're looking for, again, delivered on that note. So crazy two-way action there for Tesla. Still up 1.25, guys, but better part of $9-10 range on the day.
It does, and I'll be upset with myself for. I'm in Mullen right now. I'll talk about that after. But 190 on Tesla. Spent the morning saying 200 and 190, and then when it hit the bottom at 190, was just looking at other names that particular point to catch longs off the bottom. It is what it is. Kind of sucks. And 193 will be big. I chose Meta here. I actually just got into Meta at 203, but this is about the same kind of thing at 193. It's been resistance all afternoon on Tesla. So look, it's 193 if it breaks. I think you're looking 96, 97. I would probably short that top if it got there. And if you're looking at why I'm in Mullen, I think it's pretty simple. Mullen is not, this is not an endorsement of the stock. It's been doing this, and then it found this bid at 10 cents today. So it bounced off it a couple times. A lot of dark pool wicks down to 10. It didn't really get to $10 here, just dark pool prints. It now actually 10 cents, not $10. It did get to 10 cents here, and that's where I got a few more. And just looking for it to bounce. I mean, if it goes half a cent to a cent, that's about it. There's about 8 million plus shares on that bid that are lit. There's probably at least 20 to 30 realistically, if you consider what's all the dark pools there. So I am going to be in Mullen. If it moves up, great. Breaks 10, I'm out. It's just that simple.
All right, actually, didn't realize it just got filled there, so we actually have a little bit more shares. I punched short 27 thinking we didn't get 29s there on Amazon. So, yeah, we're going to get close to getting out of this name here as it's starting to take out some of these highs, and the market's really starting to go right now. So it's a nice upside move right now for Amazon. Our average price is 24. We're going to get out if it breaks 40, right? So, you know, it sucks. It'll be about a 15-cent hit. Let's see what Amazon wants to do. As right now, the NASDAQ just taking out this level. I wasn't sure it was going to do it, so, you know, we do have a little bit of a breaking spot right now for this play. And it looks like we will wind up getting out, of course, of Amazon here as it's right near a pressure point. Trying to take me out right now. It looks like it will do that, but maybe not. Down to 24. Oh, come on, market. Just get back down to the downside. If we can get lucky enough to get a piece out of this one, then I think we should do that. Let's bid something near 20s here in case it does fall down just a little bit for us. That level 11, I don't know, man. What are we short at, 25? Yeah, this trade's probably going to go against us right now. That's the problem. You really got to be convicted here in the after show because you're going to have a little bit of less volume coming through. That's why it's important to trade the right names on the right symbols. But okay, so as Tesla, we missed the opportunity here. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious. Tesla went to that 197. I clearly remember talking about this right there. Whenever you see all these wick kind of tops like that, that's a good indication that there's just not enough buying pressure to break that level. Okay, so over and over and over again, you could have taken this short anywhere here, 196, giving yourself to 197.50. So let's wait to see if we can find a bottom. But right now, that's the only play for me, is a short all the way up there at the top for Tesla. So I think you got to wait for 196, 197 again, because right now you're in the middle. I mean, you missed the 190 and you missed the 198. Do you really want to trade 193? So for me, it's wait and go. And we're going to have Danielle Shea. I mean, I don't know a bigger Tesla bull, I guess, than Miss Shea. So when she comes on, I'm sure she'll have some thoughts about that. But for me, it's a short there, 198 as a day trader.
Oh, shoot.
All right, let's go on to CRM. I threw it in there at the bottom because it's having a really nice day. 0.5% to the upside here with the overall market. NASDAQ, anyways, still struggling. This is obviously in New York, but I mean, it's considered a tech name. 191.50 is a bit of an area here. This came out over lunch hour here, about just before we came on, in fact. The Elliott challenge to get some board members apparently has been ended. So they've said they're satisfied with the current changes that have been made, and so be it. Let's continue on forward. So a nice afternoon anyways, guys, for Salesforce.
Yeah, green into a somewhat red market, but I mean, the ES is positive, but we already talked about that. Like a lot of the tech names are negative. And CRM is bucking that trend. Daily chart, 195. Wake me up when it gets to 195. That's all I'll say about CRM. I'm not going to trade it at a level that doesn't matter, and 195 is a big one. So when it gets up there, fades, breaks, all that good stuff. CCL reported. I wanted to quickly talk about this because I left you guys in the morning saying I like the 9 long on CCL. This is the reason why. 3 days in a row, support off 9. It was looking okay. First bounce, we were able to get some out. I think it was at like 11. Second bounce, it actually gave you 9 even. Then it could only get to about 4 or 5. It broke. I reversed short. I'm still sitting in the short. The short was at 8.95. That was the actual low in there. And sometimes you have an even dollar stop. Other times you stop it out just beneath the level. This was a case where I said 8.95 was what I liked as opposed to 9 for an out. So you give up 5 extra cents, you're short 5 cents lower, but it still ends up reversing the trend at that point. Realistically, the trend was downside the entire way. They did beat top and bottom, but the entire space has some issues. And quite frankly, they've been under pressure. And whether it's RCL, CCL, NCLH probably a little bit better than the other two. These are now headed back down towards some pretty interesting support levels. This is it today, failing the 200-period moving average. I would suspect there's always a chance it could trend down to $7.50, $8 around here. So I will enter tomorrow looking for shorts after that failure post earnings on the 200 period. Right now I'm holding the short, looking for $8.50 as my out. And then one last one. Sorry, I already talked about Mullen, but just one last one that was, I kind of forgot to mention this one going over Meta. Snapchat was strong all morning into the face of the market when it was weak. But remember that $12 from last week. So it got up to that 12. We shorted it at 12 over under a couple times. If it gets back in here to VWAP at 11.85, I'm looking to re-enter the short And then it's not really about VWAP. It's really more about the morning high and then late afternoon pop. So 1185, that's where my reload zone is in Snapchat, and looking to work this back into the low of the day. If it hits a fresh low, I'm likely all out.
All right, shout out to you, Brian James. Bang for Brian James. Nah, I'm not looking at Mullen. I was just saying I'm looking at Amazon, quite frankly, and there was just a lot of buyers right there at VWAP. This came right back into the money for me on Amazon, and it just kept bouncing off 24.25, which is right where VWAP is. I actually put a bid here at 21 and didn't even get filled. You guys know when we were all the way up here last time, I was like, I'm just going to bid 20s, see if we get some, and that's right where VWAP is, and I didn't get anything down there, and I was on like a free gateway for that. So I didn't get filled at all. And what I mean by a free gateway is like, I'm just sitting there and I will pay for the fill. So it's like an inverse gateway. So normally if you're sitting here on an ARCA or a NASDAQ or a BATS, or, I mean, there's so many different examples. I can go on and on. Probably it's all like, doesn't mean anything to anybody unless you know. But anyways, we never got touched down there. So that's, I was debating just punching it all out when I saw that, but I didn't, so now we still have this. It's okay. It's a decent sized position, and it sucks. I'm going to lose 15 cents here, but I'm pretty sure all that back and forth right there. I was sitting here watching like a hawk. That's what I was doing, was reading the level 2, right? So, you know, trying to find momentum, and it kept refreshing, and I could have got out, and in hindsight, I should have. So we'll try to follow our own little rules there a little bit next time. But all right, let's throw it back to Brendan. We've got such an important guest tomorrow, and I want you all to know about it.
Yeah, given the current state of the banking sector and given everything that's going on as far as inflation, we have this guy coming up tomorrow. Yeah, Peter Schiff's back on the show. Really excited to get his take on not only individual regional banks, what he thinks is going to happen next, maybe what the outcome could possibly be, but we'll touch on the Fed, everything that they've done to this point, what could come next as far as their moves are concerned. So make sure you are here this time in 15 minutes from now, but be here anyways this time. Tomorrow afternoon, Peter Schiff, guys, going to be exciting.
I want to ask him about Bitcoins. You want to ask him about gold.
Gold, baby.
I want to thank everybody as well who put some comments on the tweet that I made earlier this morning. We will do our best to ask him about everything. Brandon's got China on his mind as well from that, and it's going to be really fun there with Peter Schiff tomorrow. Check him out, man. 800,000 followers. It should be good. And I know a lot of you probably won't agree with it, but that's the whole point of coming on, is there's many different aspects of trading and of investing. So I'll be really excited to hear what Peter's trying to say.
If all you're interested in is people that agree with you, you're never going to learn anything. That's the reality in this world. Whether it comes to, we talk about this in trading all the time. You want to have multiple perspectives. I could see that one coming. I walked into it. But yeah, you want to learn from different styles of trade so that you can incorporate them to your own. You don't want to have a bunch of yes people around you. So, you know, gold has been pretty strong. Obviously, maybe pulling back a little bit, and we'll have a little bit of a talk about that. Crypto obviously has been in play. Oh, we didn't talk about coin.
No,
did we?
We did not.
Oh yeah, you know what? I felt like
I didn't trade it. You did, right?
No, yeah. Well, it actually made. Oh goodness, there we go. I think it hit enter a couple of times, and then eventually it'll load up there. But Coinbase, I got out of the short way too early, so it did this flat bottom break from the afternoon, this 66 area. I wanted to short off 70, but if you look at Friday, once it broke that 66. This is it. Like, I wasn't on the flat bottom break, but the second it kind of came up there, I just took the overfills. Like, that's like 66 and a quarter a couple times. Then it did this on me, got a bunch out, and then it slammed to the bottom, held 64 as I covered. I tried the long once, but didn't really. If you don't love it, you're not likely to hold it. And I thought 60 on the daily chart was the level. That's going to end up being that 200 period. It bounces off of that, but a little bit too far away. Like, it held 60 and a half. Whereas I kind of thought a little closer to 60 even was going to be the low. So I probably got it at a long too early. But I'd rather take a paper cut in the long than hold on to a trade I don't really like all that much. I'm always looking for somewhere to fade on Coinbase lately. And down 9%. It was down 10% at one point. Not a great day for that name. And you might not see me in and out of Mullen very often, guys, but I'm probably going to be in this. It either breaks 10 or gets at least halfway to VWAP, or there's not much of a trade. This is one of those, when it was at 20 cents, it did a pretty good bounce off 20 cents. And we'll see if it can do the same thing at 10. NVIDIA got really close to filling me up here at 67. Looks like I missed it by, I don't know, like 15 or 20 cents, but I don't want to compromise. I want the fills in front of 67 here. Not going to chase it by 40 or 50 pennies. The market's bouncing a little bit. Let's wait for our fills. And speaking of chip names, might have a long this afternoon in Intel. So Intel up on the day, grinding higher. If you look at it on the 15-minute, it's actually heading toward Friday's highs. Maybe there's a short off that level. But I'm loving the fact that it's actually trending to the upside, higher lows above VWAP. If we dip down in here to VWAP, I'm looking to pick that one up on Intel today.
I mean, now Amazon doesn't want to break like 30 to the downside. So we're going to get stopped out of this once it breaks 40. So I actually, there he goes. I actually have bids. That doesn't matter now. I was going to say I actually switched bids into 30 there to see if I could save myself 10 cents, but the break just happened there. Now I hope that we didn't get the top take rate there, but we could have. That could have just came in, and we just got wicked out at the very. We didn't get wicked out. We got stopped out. You know, it broke that level right there, 40, and we got out. But we did sort of sniff that one out there. That did not pass the sniff test. Should have got out the first time, but then when it came back in, I was then. It's too bad that it just broke because I wanted to sort of show you what I was talking about there. But it breaks. We'll flush ourselves down the toilet temporarily for that one, anyways. As the Nasdaq right now is off. It's trying to go back up to the upside right now. So. Do we need to find longs or not? I don't know if I'm actually in love with longs right now. Again, it's been a good day for sure, but I mean, it's been a good day for the shorts. Right now, if you just bought that bottom there, which was the 158 bottom in Apple, which we were screaming about earlier, now you have to worry about this 12,850 level right here for the NASDAQ. And of course, we just did get taken out of that Apple trade, that Amazon trade. Not overly worried about it, but I don't know. This could be at some tops right now. The one name that I know is, I shouldn't say I know is weak, but where we've really done a lot on is AMD for the short side, and that's starting to break upside a little bit right now again. I think I got to do like what Neil's doing there, like try to find a name that I'm interested in when it gets to that level.
Square.
Because, yeah, right now it's just like, you never want to be like, sort of, what do they call it, like a lost puppy or whatever? Like you're just looking around for something to trade. That's not the style. Like we've done really well recently trying to be very specific in what we're trading and off specific levels. Like I'm happy. Like sure, I gave back Amazon, fine. It was a big stock for me. We're still green on the day, but we did give some up. We were looking for a short there on VWAP. It came in, matched with some levels. I liked it, just didn't hit. So unfortunately, we'll lose on that Amazon trade, but hey, we're still looking for more, man. My number one trade today is this Apple trade. Maybe we just let this fly up here a little bit. We're still short. It's fine. We covered half of what we had left right there. We have 5% left now on Apple, and maybe we just have to wait for 160. That just seems so far away, and that's not really my MO. So.
Or we can do what Brian Carrasco says and ask the Magic 8 Ball whether or not the NASDAQ is going to finish green today. It's down 1/3% or just a little bit less than that. So we'll see what happens. I mean, obviously, I'm seeing in a bunch of things that might not care, like CCL at earnings say they don't give a damn. And Mullen probably doesn't care if the market goes up. See, you have to wait for it.
What are you asking it?
I'm asking it if the NASDAQ goes green.
I think it goes green.
Concentrate and ask again?
That's right, Neil. I feel like you weren't concentrating there. That's why I asked you. What was the question? I feel like exactly.
Hold on a second. Let me do a little bit.
If you're not going to concentrate,
let me do a little bit of this. That's from the Karate Kid. If you guys have seen Karate Kid, I think it's Karate Kid.
But I feel like you're talking too much and not concentrating.
I'm focused, man.
Okay. I just want to get the ball to work.
All right, let's see what it says. Come on now. Maybe
we're idiots.
Oh, come on. Maybe. First, you don't want to answer the question.
Don't throw the 8 ball, dog.
Okay, my bad. First, you don't want to answer the question. Then you drop a maybe. Okay, see.
D. Westermeyer, man.
Mr. Westermeyer, who's about to run through everybody in our NCAA pool. His bracket's on fire. If Miami wins, he's got it.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you can come on anyways. You just let us know. Send us an email because for sending the ball, you can come on. Mr. Westermeyer. I'm not even sure his first name. I'm going to go Dave right there. So I guess we could probably check the FedEx or whatever he sent it in, but we'll keep it private.
Duncan.
Maybe he doesn't want his first name, and that's cool. That's fine because my first name is not really Sean, anyways, right? So, all right, we're gonna wait. It is, but I'm not gonna ask it again because you've already done that. If you ask it too much, it could wear off. That's the other thing,
That's not good. We don't want that.
Yeah, it's not good. We don't need. Not that it's actually predicted anything yet, but we don't want it to wear off. So, anyways, yeah. What I was going to get at is whoever wins this NCAA pool comes on the show anyways, right? So you may be coming on if you want to come on. But all right, so I shorted new position alert. I'm supposed to do this. Well, I'm not supposed to. It's something that I started doing, and I was like, okay, let's just do it. All right, Micron. So All right. I was looking for a short, so let's find what I thought was one of the weaker tech names around right now, Micron. We were going to look at Google. Microsoft also pretty weak as well today. But the fact that I was already short AMD and NVIDIA and all that, I just wanted something that was coming back to some key levels here. So 60.50, we shorted in front of there. And my out, actually I didn't even put an out, but I was looking at like 65 or 70, right around here as an out. So we had these pre-market bottoms, looking at that for an out. You know, we're going to play support and resistance. You know, pre-market levels have been pretty key for us. But again, we want to make sure that we're not just throwing out random trades, right, all the time. And like, if you're going to always look for key support levels, you can find them pretty much anywhere. You just got to be specific. But look at this wick that we noticed. So this has happened before I got in. So it was kind of cruising, and then whenever you get this like little doji star right there, that's what that's called, except for it's green. Doji star would have been red, indicating a downside move. But, you know, that's flashed up, flashed down, and closed right where it was. So, you know, that 55 could be a level as well for this Micron. So I'm going to look at this. We'll probably get out at a 60 break, but I'm interested in that 55. So maybe 65 or so. We'll try to get another short rate around here and see if we can respect that. But for right now, we're in half a position of Micron back down. And then, again, you know, a lot of this is picking, but it came all the way back as well. Similar to VWAP, you still have the 200 period here on the 3 minute. So, you know, there's some sort of levels, and then right back into here for the close on Friday is right at these levels again. So I'm gonna pick Micron here to the short and see if this one will print a little bit for me. So Micron short until we take down this 65.
Green Horizons is asking, I'm not gonna ask the 8-ball if Mullen's going back to $1. I mean, it probably is, because they'll probably have to reverse split, right? So it probably does go back to $1.
That's true. And 8-ball doesn't know about those mechanics.
No, that's sort of the problem. Like, that's the reason it would go back up. Well, I shouldn't say all that bad on it. It's just that's probably what will be the case. And thank you guys for pointing out IMPP updated the financials this morning. That's why it's up. Actually, their listed net value is like about 7x their current market cap. So, however, and I'm going to say this, the big old however, there's your 50 period, there's your previous support, 23 cents, there's your breakdown at 23 cents, there's your top at 24 cents, which sets up the old consolidation after wick top through resistance, like short 23 to 23 and a half, stop at the high of the day. That old thing that I usually do. Ooh, I just got NVIDIA in front of 267. Alrighty then, so all the shorts tend to come in at once. Oh, I didn't hit accept on my locates. You always have to confirm when we pay for locates, so I didn't actually confirm it. That's processing right now because I just hit it.
New security step.
Oh, no, it's unavailable. Never mind. That's weird. It was available, but I just did it now. It's unavailable.
Oh, just keep trying.
Yeah, I'll try again. But like to me, anyway, I think this is the short 23 to 23 and a half. I'll try again to grab those locates. It's 1/8 of a cent per share. It's such a cheap name. Anyways, I did get NVIDIA there in front of that 267 area, but that could get taken out pretty soon. I just want to go in and grab these again while that's happening.
Wait a minute, you went short or long?
I went short until it breaks.
Yeah, I'm the same way with all this.
Until it breaks out here, I just don't know that I believe in the long. If I go long in chip name, I actually do feel Intel today. I kind of felt that it would be a dip first, but yeah, we could get run over on this NVIDIA. Probably should have given the long some more room. It's stair-stepping to the upside. But this is the last level here at that 67.
All right, let's go. Just real quickly right now. Shout out to Ponzi Fonzie. What's up? You want to bang? There it is. And a shout out, you get one. I'm the same way, and I don't want to just be shorting everything, you know, in the chip space, because that's why I asked Neil which way he's going, because I'm short Micron right now and debating shorting AMD again right now against 97.50. But you know, I'm gonna leave it alone, because obviously if Micron wants to work, it should work. AMD right now down 0.5. Look at Micron down 1%. So it's much different. I mean, I'd rather be short the weaker name right now. And if it's gonna work, then I'm happy with this. I feel like it's a little safer play. We'll take one more average in on that wick up and then get out if it breaks too much higher than that. As we're sort of starting to enter a little bit of power hour now, so maybe we can look for some more names. All right, FRC 1381, we can quickly look at that. come on, come down, man. Like, I'm just sitting in this Micron. This is not my style of trade, man. Like, when the market's booming around, I don't have a problem, like, putting in positions, scalping them out, but it's like just waiting for these things to move. It's kind of like, like trying to figure this out. Like, I don't know, you know, if I want to even bother to be sitting here right now, to be honest with you. Remember I said, like, if I was not on the show, I'd just be like on a golf course right now. And sometimes
it's not that nice out.
No, not here. But if I wasn't on the show, you know, who knows where I'd be living. But the thing is like,
it's too cold.
If you know, like in the morning there, we already made our day. And it's like, so for right now, you got to find kind of the best setups. And like maybe this FRC breaking the bottom here at 1350 could be something. Like, I'm already mad that I gave some back on that Amazon trade. Not mad, but just like, we don't need to push it right now. This is not a bad little level here, 1350. We've been holding it out for FRC. I didn't pay for shorts yet, so I'm going to go over there and do it as well. But that's a good little level there for 1350 on FRC. So maybe if you're looking at, you know, something that you could trade, that could be it as well on some of these banks. Let's look at CCL. CCL today comes out with their report, and again, it's been a pretty bad move here, down 5%, near its low of the day right now at 870. So here it is. This is the up and down movement that I hate trading earnings right away for, but it gave you this top at 950 a couple times, once and then twice, and we haven't seen it since. When you get a big move down like this, I'm normally waiting for a 200 period or a 50 period break. So right here, this 200 period break actually is lining up with 885. So topped out 885 there, topped out 885 there again, plus the 200 period is at 885. So you're all right here now. Can I say that number one more time? Probably 885. And then we'll see if it can break that. That's a good little spot to jump forward on that. And then if we get it, VWAP is 9. So maybe 15 cents worth of risk. That actually plans well right there, because 15 cents worth of risk gives you 15 cents to the downside as well. So I actually do not, my friends, mind that trade on CCL. If we can get above that 885, we can see about breaking that. This just went in the money for me. Micron, by the way, down to 45. Well, okay, it's nothing. Thought it went a little bit more than that, but it didn't. So, okay, I was hoping to get a 40 print to take a dime on 10% like we always do, and then we'll wait for a little bit more. It seems to be rejecting this 40 area.
885.
885.
885 is the only number you need, man.
If I look back in that 885 and I don't take it,
100% chance that is how it works out. That's Murphy's Law, bro. That's Murphy's Law. Not really. It's kind of.
It is. It is.
Is it really? It's close enough.
I don't know what the hell does Murphy's Law.
Isn't it like anything that can go? Anything that can go wrong will.
Go
so it's
wrong.
not really Murphy's Law.
That's not really going wrong.
It's not really going wrong. But what is going wrong is not being fast enough to get to pay for locates. So Obviously, I told you guys I like the fills a little bit better, 23.5. I didn't get that. I got 23.23, like 23 and a quarter is what my short is. Should be up here, is down here. 22, 21.5, 21 VWAP. That's what I'm looking for. If it breaks, VWAP will hold like 10, 20% for the absolute bottom. But anytime you get a level like that and you're looking for the mean reversion, like allow it to travel, allow it to get there, let it reject first, and then get into the short. If I did that every time on SI, I'd never lose on SI. But I always try to get in early on SI, and that's what ends up being trouble. NVIDIA starting to turn around a little bit here. Just got the overs at VWAP. Now it's down 266.25, so we'll go ahead and say flush it, NVIDIA. But if this comes down, I want Intel long. So this is, I can't even think of the last time I wasn't going for an Intel long that wasn't at the absolute low of the day. But this is a different story, and it's a different sort of Intel. And it closed up here on Friday. It's finding some support right around that same area. So if it pops into VWAP, I'm going to go for the longs in front of 29.40 here on Intel. And if the market bounces, why not get to the high? Every time it's been strong in the afternoon, it's managed to make it to those tops, or at least make a run at them. So let's see if Intel can go. For those of you that pointed out Micron reports tomorrow, I think Micron's after the bell tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. I'm fully aware of all
that. It's not reporting tonight. That might change the trade at least a teensy bit if it's reported tonight, but it's not till tomorrow after market, and we'll see what happens with them. They've been on a bit of a tear. Intel's been on a bit of a tear too. Give respect where it's due. Intel's been a pretty decent one. I was just about to get filled on IMPP. Look at that. So,
what you know about me?
Yeah,
I'm the mother IMPP.
I don't know what you heard
about me. Because I can't trade IMPP. You know?
That's I like that one. I was gonna say something else, but then we can't curse on
This is original content up in here.
You know who said? So this is actually I'm working on something because everyone always asks like, why don't you ever spit something that you wrote? And then Rob, one of our IT guys, he gave me 2 bars and was like, can this be the start of something? I was like, I actually don't mind this.
I think Rob got it from ChatGPT.
Did he really? I have no idea. He just sent it to me. I'm like, okay, I'll write something. So I have like 10, and then I have to make it better because I've never actually written anything before. So I'm working on something. But it started from Rob, our IT guy.
Nice. Okay, good. Well, that should be exciting. Let's put it up.
Temper the expectations, man. I'm not.
No, man. I mean, look, if this doesn't work out, you can become like you can write for some people like Lil Uzi and stuff like that. I feel like you guys are very similar, so I think you can get that. Or what's the guy who had the diamond in his? I think that's Lil Uzi, isn't it? Or Lil Vert?
I think no.
Or something like that. Or
you know how I feel about that.
I think it might have been Lil Durk.
No, it's Lil Uzi. Isn't that?
Is it Uzi?
Isn't it?
Oh, it's Lil Uzi Vert. Oh, they're the same person. My bad. Okay, so now the only Lil I know. You know what? When I was Lil-er, I went to the Air Canada Center and I saw Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
So Lil Wayne was there, and the guy with the auto-tune, I mean, they're all doing auto-tune, but he was one of the first ones, a bigger guy, T-Pain.
Yo, but T-Pain can sing,
Yeah, it was T-Pain open for Lil Wayne.
He's got skills, man.
So that was a lot of fun. We went to that. My brother got me those tickets there. So, okay, I actually like Neil's NVIDIA trade much better than mine. I don't know why I'm sitting in like so many more shares, but Micron, you might have heard me when Neil was doing his talk there. I was like, yes, because I did get a 40 fill, like on stupid Micron for 10%, hoping that fill would have triggered it moving down, but instead it just filled me and just went right back up. So we only got out of 10%. This could be and maybe a loser here on Micron. But
the thing about Micron in the afternoons is like 10, 20 cent scalps are actually pretty good on it. Like it doesn't always move that much. It can be kind of like, I know it's more expensive than Intel, but it can trade like that sometimes. And that's just how it is.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I use, and that's why I said we want to use different share sizes.
It's very different.
Just hold on. I just want to talk. I mean, I prefer for my style of trading this trade, what you have on. I like this NVIDIA short right here against 267. It's almost like I can just have both of these on, maybe. NVIDIA and Micron right now. It's just, I don't want to like, I want to use enough shares that we can really make a lot of money if it goes down, and then at the same time, I don't want to be, I battle with this all the time, but then I don't want to be overexposed to this sector. So I don't know, man. I think we'll just hold on what we have. I know Neil has this trade. I have Micron, but it is stopping me from getting into AMD. But like AMD, again, like look at this. Micron's not moving, and AMD just moved 30 cents. So I know they report, and I'm definitely going to get off Micron right now. I'm not even going to look at it anymore. It has nothing to do with anything. If it comes down, it comes down. If it goes up, it goes up. I'm actually canceling my average in. Screw it. I don't even want this trade anymore. We'll watch it. If it goes up, great. Not great, we'll get stopped out. But I'm not adding. We'll keep the small piece that we have right now and look elsewhere. Amazon blew us up right there. But look where Amazon's come right into. Like, this is what I'm talking about right here. These kind of trades. 98.75. So we just went up to 98.70. For me, this is looking like a short here for Amazon.
And I want to give this one.
Yeah,
I was about to talk about my NPP trade, but I was gonna just type in the chat, congratulations to Reliable Rudy. Rudy's always reliable. That's a great movie.
It's a great movie.
There was a member of my track team in university who had an unhealthy obsession with the Rudy movie. I won't call her out on it, but it was like, okay, I get it. And like everyone used to talk about how cute, like it's a good movie, but it's just like a little bit too much. But it's all about finding a level, finding a trade that you like. And look, and here's the thing. I think you're on a name that makes sense because you're talking about XPeng here. And it's like it's up on the day, but this is a stock that put in, I don't know if you're swinging or day trading this. That's the first thing. I have no idea. But this 10, it's failed 10, and that's one of those setups where, okay, you're on an upward trend, you fail a 10 break, and then the consolidation on a swing basis makes some sense. You're short here to here, and then you have room down to $8. Now, if you're not swinging it, then maybe you're in like a day trade where you're just sort of, oh, I think it's breaking down from those highs, and it's done nothing to maybe get you out, nothing to give you any profit, so you're just sort of sitting in this one. If it's a swing, it looks a little bit better. It's kind of a nothing burger in today, but it feels like this stock failed 10 even, and it's like a look short situation. So yeah, you could have had a little bit better this morning, but from a swing perspective, like that's not that bad. If it breaks down, you could be at 8 to 850. So I love looks like that because you're trading a stock at a key price area where it gives you good risk to return. Again, I don't know your plans of action there, but that's a name that I looked back on it last week and it's like, I made some big misses. One of the biggest miss was when Pinduoduo reported the gap to the downside, and then I liked the short here, I liked it the next day, and I was like, that's good enough. We don't have to look at it again. We don't have to look at it again, and then it just, no. If it's good, and it broke down on the daily chart as well, broke down the 50, broke this consolidation down, if you like it, just keep going back to the well till the water runs dry. Like that was a gift. So if you like XPeng around there, go for it. Either it breaks 10 to the upside or it flushes to 8, and that's a good price level. So I'm all for something like that because you can't ignore these names. Just got 21s. Jinx. Just got 21.5 on IMPP. It bounced to 21. I'm for some reason sitting underneath 21, which always makes a lot of sense. VWAP's down there. But this one pulling back off that key level. So quick little win there. We'll go Gronk Spike as an ode to Mr. Lamar Jackson. Good luck with everything. I think you're making a mistake, buddy.
I just can't wait till the Jets sign Lamar Jackson, and then Aaron Rodgers can be like, doot. Maybe I shouldn't have gone and done ayahuasca or whatever in the dark night with Jake Paul. Okay, so all right, here comes Amazon. So now, hopefully, hopefully it'll print for us back down there, 98.53s. Hopefully, we'll get in. We're short at 63. Hey, man, we'll take a dime if we can. We're sitting there. Did you see that? You see how I was layered there trying to take some shares out? And then it just goes, no thank you, like that, directly in my face. So yeah, we're going to have to wait to see what's happening now with that play. Oh, we almost got a dime, but it said no. Hopefully Amazon can fall back down for us right now, and then we'll see. So that trade, pretty happy with that. Let's go to see. There it is. Did we get it? No, we did not yet. Okay, we definitely need to get a piece out here before this gets too nasty for us. So hopefully this can go down. The market right now is that the reason why I want to get at least something out. I don't know if the market just topped out there or not, but I'd like to see a move down. The volume seems to be picking up a little bit here. I still don't have a fill. It went to 53 again and stopped. So part of me thinks like maybe we don't even need to put an order out, but I don't think that's the right way either. So here we go. Let's wait to see what's going on right now as we're trying to get this fill on Amazon down here at 53. But that's the short that we like. Micron, we said forget about it. So we're going to do that here again and forget about it. We'll wait to see if Micron does come down. Great. I don't even have any bids anymore on this name. So we'll see if that can fill. But right now, we're really focused on Amazon. There it is. Come on down and give me that 53 right now if we can get it. If this is the frustrating part. I heard Max on the midday show talking about missing some fills, and it's like, yeah, that's what it's all about, right? See?
What the?
It just went to 53 and stopped again. So that's it. Go. Am I going to have to?
Is Wayne Brady going to have to?
Wayne Brady? I like Wayne Brady. He's the guy that...
You know what I mean. You know that's...
Yeah. No, I don't know what you mean. Wayne Brady is the guy that's on that...
Chappelle show. Is Wayne Brady going to have... I can't say the rest...
Oh, the slap up.
I can't say the rest of that.
I was thinking... What's that show that he's on now? Let's Make a Deal.
Oh,
so I was trying to think about something with I'm going to make a deal with Amazon here, but no deal yet. There it is. Okay, thank you so much. Awesome. We got a 55 and a 53 there. Awesome, guys.
Awesome. And so I was about to show you guys level 2 of Mullen, but NVIDIA just gave those fills up at 67, so I was able to grab. I got some at like 90. Double check. I got 94s. I got some at 89. That works out to like, I don't know. I have a 91 price currently. I just got some of those. It hasn't really updated yet, but those are the overfills. It does feel like we're a little bit strong. So as it gets to VWAP and it gets to 266.5, I feel like maybe I need to take at least something out there. If it wants to grind higher, fair enough. I want to hold on to a piece for 66 and lower, but this market, it's feeling a little bit strong. And that old Intel long that I keep thinking about getting on the dip doesn't seem to want to happen. Am I really taking a breakout in Intel? I don't think I've done that in, actually maybe I've never done that. It's entirely possible I've never had a breakout trade on Intel because I didn't really, actually that's not true because I probably traded it when I started trading in 2003, that's for sure. I definitely did. But anyways.
The thing is, you probably started trading at a higher price than it is today.
I don't remember. That's the crazy thing. I wish I remembered. I wish I had kept tape, because we used to record our screens back when we started.
Yeah.
So I used to have recordings of my trading in my first half year, but I got rid of all of it. And I know I used to trade some Cisco, I used to trade AMAT, and I was trading Intel, and Oracle was the other one. A little bit of Microsoft too, and less Microsoft actually. But NVIDIA is starting to come down. It's at 266.5, so thank you there. We'll power up to IMPP that finally gets down to VWAP, take that 21. That's just one of those clean. It's not a random level. Yes, it shows you a wick top, but it's a setup. It's the wick top consolidation. Look for the retracement to VWAP, but it's also at a significant price level. Look where it happens. And I want to shout out in the chat because people just put up IMPP's moving. It doesn't mean there was a trade there, but pulled it up and it happened to make a top exactly where you'd want it to for that reversal, where you know exactly where you're wrong, and then you can work that trade. Come on, a little bit more, NVIDIA. I want 50s out. I'm on the bid at 54. Let's see if I can get that. Then I'm looking for 266.25, and then we'll hold for the rest. Mullen, by the way, it's probably going to break this 10 cents today. It's a pretty decent size level. This is why I'm long. It's why I'm long Mullen. It's essentially, this is why, like 5 and 8 million, 9 million shares lit. So on the lit gateways, there's 9 million shares. But if you watch this for more than like a couple of minutes, you realize almost all the volume's going in the dark pools on this today. I kind of explain why in the midday show. But yeah, this stock maybe doesn't want to bounce. Kind of frustrating. You'd think with all that bid, it could at least go a half a cent, but that's all I'm looking for.
I mean, if that's what that looks like, I mean, I didn't even look at that yet. Honestly, man,
You can get the evens.
Yeah, I mean, what can you get this? Where are you long at? Oh, what?
Oh, my price is actually 007.
007.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I haven't taken these fills. I got this, you know what, I didn't notice till just now that it actually gave the 001s. It's kind of annoying because now you're talking fractions of a cent there. But it's actually not that bad of a trade. Like, it's a huge monster level. I should be on the bid for more. I have 7s, it's at 3s. 1s and 2s make some sense. I'm talking myself. Why didn't I have more? That's a good
I don't know. That's why I'm at 03.
Because I wasn't watching the level 2. I just had the chart up. That's why.
Yeah, it's all about getting the stop order in, right? So, I mean, if that breaks O's, it's 099.
You got to put 3 9s on there. That's the thing.
All right.
You
Yeah,
wanna win it-
0.0999. Yeah, I don't really care. All right, 99 cents if it breaks it. All right, that's fine. All right, I'm just putting this out here. If it breaks that, I'm just setting my order. You can come to my screen if you want. I'm going long Mullen right now. So let's just see what happens. If it breaks it, I'm going long a lot of shares if I can get them here at O's because I don't see any problem with getting out of this. Now,
0 chance. This is tons of liquidity. It's on 300 million shares.
Oops, what did I just do? Ooh, shit. Okay, oops. All right, that was my bad. I just put it for 99 cents because my order just fired out there, and I was like, nope, that's wrong.
I did exactly the
right
same
there. So I'm going to cancel that offer now at 99 cents for Mullen for like 100,000 shares. And let's just see now if we can't get, so we're not even filled at O's yet here. I'm not going to punch this level, but if we can get filled here, then fine, because no matter what, I feel like we should be able to get out. So I actually like this trade right now for Mullen. I just got to get filled on the bid here, and if we can get that, then all good, and then we'll watch to see if it can fly up.
Watch out for chips.
Yeah, there's not that much difference right now. There goes Amazon right now flying back up to the upside. We're getting close to getting stopped out of this one as well. But yeah, 80s out here for Amazon as we have another spot. I'm just going to get this Mullen order lined up, but it doesn't look like I'm going to get the fill.
So I was saying watch out for the chips because NVIDIA just came right back up. Looked like it was about to break. I didn't adjust my stop. Probably a good thing that I just saw that so that I can adjust my stop order. Yeah, it's having all kinds of trouble with this over-under. This is the thing. Like, it's a tight range, man. Like, it's giving you 66, but I'm waiting for 50s when I should just, if I want to fill in here, I'll just take the fill kind of above at 65, and then, then I'll feel better about reloading here and then holding to there. But it's showing you a 50-cent range. It's like, okay, we'll take the range. You have to take some of it. That's the part of my issue is I look at a level like that, and I'm always sort of thinking, yeah, but if we trend to the downside, why aren't we going back to 64 or 63? But in the afternoon, sometimes you just...
Whoa.
Okay, now it does it.
Ooh. Come on,
like
Amazon.
Now I was about to say that it doesn't always flush, and then that just happened. Then it just flushes like $1. So thank you very much, NVIDIA. It was just not doing this, and as I'm complaining about it,
honestly,
it then flushes to go $1 down. Okay, thank you, shorts.
freaking lations. Because honestly, man, Micron can go directly to hell and don't even pass go. Like, I said I liked that NVIDIA trade, and I should have just gone right back on that trade right there at 267. Like, that was, for me, that would have been a day maker because I would have shorted too many shares there for sure. But okay, here comes Micron back down. We'll take another 40 fill. Like, yay, Sean, right now for a dime on Micron. I mean, honestly, I don't think it's any surprise that I'm going to have quite significantly more shares on Micron than Neil has on NVIDIA, but the risk to reward on NVIDIA was so much greater. I'm so upset that I went over to Micron. I mean, I'm not so upset, but I'm upset enough. So great trade, Neil, on that one. I should have hopped on that. If anything, maybe AMD as well. Look at this, man. It's the same freaking call.
They're all tanking.
Are they? Go to Micron. Okay, so anyways. All right, so right now, okay. Needless to say,
that is tanking for Micron. That is tanking.
Yeah, exactly. That's my problem. Oh yeah. Well, now Micron's moving, so I take that back a little bit there.
Yeah,
Micron is making its final tank move right here to the downside. But you know what is money? Is this trade right here. I'll take 20 cents in the money on Amazon on a reloaded position all day, every day. So it's a nice move to the downside right now for Amazon. And I know there it is right now. See if we can get this 98.40. Short. Out right here at 98.50. Now we're shorter right now. It's only 20 cents in the money, but we're looking for more. And there's Micron. Micron finally flushed a little bit there, down to $60.32. If you wait long enough, you get rewarded. So I'm going to have to speak to Miss Danielle Shea. Check's watch, 306 right now. We love having her on. Hey, better late than never. She's a busy woman.
She can show up whenever she wants.
From one busy person to the next, it's Mr. Brendan Wickens.
She's very busy, and she's joining us once again for a Monday visit. As always, Danielle Shea is VP of Options over at Simpler Trading. Great to see you. Hope you had a wonderful vacation, first of all.
I did. It was great. I went to Kansas City and I visited my grandma and my entire family, you know, home of the Chiefs and barbecue. So I had a great time, but it's great to be back.
Amazing. You didn't miss much. Or maybe you did, a little bit. Anyways, there's so much to get to, obviously, with all that's happened, not only in the banking sector, but Fed last week. Let's touch on the overall market to kick things off. Really want to hear your thoughts here because you had a really interesting piece in the note that you sent me this morning in the sense that as soon as we get this quarter-point hike from the Fed last week, which was what everyone expected, let's throw it out there, but maybe not the best idea overall, yields fell off a cliff, essentially saying the bond market is not buying this whatsoever as far as the hawkish talk. Tell me your thoughts here as far as the market is concerned.
Well, you know, I think that this is the craziest part of the overall bank crisis, right? Because, I mean, the bank crisis has a huge potential to be a black swan market crash event. But what's actually happened is when that occurred, we've seen the 10-year just fall off a cliff. And when the 10-year falls off a cliff like that, it opens up the door for tech stocks to rally. And so I think that what we're seeing when we see the TNX down near, you know, February, November lows and potentially breaking even lower, you know, we're going to see people taking out more mortgages. We're going to see the housing market pick up a little bit. And most importantly, we're going to see tech stocks rallying. I think that the rotation that we've seen into tech stocks is really exciting for us as traders because we're right up against resistance here in the NASDAQ and the put call ratio is high. So what that means is that if the news can get any better and we can see the NASDAQ and Microsoft and Apple break through those February highs, we could get a really strong FOMO-induced buying rally into April, and that would be a lot of fun to trade.
One of the unexpected benefactors from this entire mess that we've been dealing with in the banking sector has been a move. We were saying even this morning on the show, you know, money has to go somewhere, and so why not put it into the biggest, the best, the companies that have the most cash on hand, you know, by far, which is big tech. So if you had to dig in, I know you want to touch on Amazon here, but if you had to dig into this group, we talked a little bit about Microsoft. I mean, we're doing this on a day, obviously, when there's been a little bit of a pullback today, which is fine. I mean, the NASDAQ gets to 20% off its low for the year this morning again before turning on a dime. If you had to dig in a little bit, I know you're a fan of Microsoft, but give us your thoughts here. Where's the best play in your mind?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, I'm happy to show you my charts as well. So we can go ahead and start with Microsoft. I mean, what I'm looking at here is you can see that we just broke above those February highs, right? So we got just above the February highs. We have this resistance right here in Microsoft, and we have this target up here near the August highs, which is what, 295. So I'm thinking that if we can break up above 280, we have a pretty nice trade up into that 295 zone. So I really like Microsoft. I think Microsoft is a great market leader. And the other one is going to be Apple. So when you look at Apple, same situation. We've come up above those February highs. We're stuck here under this 160, 162. If we could break up above, let's say up above 162, we could trade it up into 165, 170 for a nice swing trade. And when you have those technical patterns, plus you also have seasonality, Microsoft and Apple historically are up more often than they're not in April because you have those earnings reports coming up. So these stocks normally trade higher into the reports. I think if we could just get one more little catalyst to break through those overhead areas of resistance, then we could be off to the races.
Is this a question, Danielle, of a matter of when, not necessarily if we get through some of those levels? And is it going to be about these earnings reports? Because let's be honest, a lot of people not expecting the greatest things in this quarter.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely a function of when, because, what we have right now is we've had a market that's just been saturated with bad news, right? And so we have this high put call ratio and everybody's waiting for the next shoe to drop. And so, I'm not saying that everything is fixed. It's definitely not. The Fed should not have hiked. We have bad situation with the banks overall, but it's just really unique because when we have such bad news, it opens up the door for a really nice rally, because all it takes is one good news day. All we need is a morning where we wake up and the NASDAQ has gapped up 1%, 1.5% overnight, and then boom, you are off to the races, and those are some of the best trading days.
Let's dig in a little bit further here as far as the NASDAQ is concerned. SMH and also chips in general have been just monsters. I just saw NVIDIA is 89% off its lows from the beginning of the year. Just an absolute monster all year long. Put the, chat GPT, AI stuff aside, strength is strength. You can't deny that. Where do they go from here?
Well, this is one other reason why I'm looking at tech stocks, because normally the chip makers are going to lead the way, and that's exactly what they're doing. When you look at NVIDIA and you look at SMH, they're leading the way higher. And so with NVIDIA in particular, honestly, it's impossible for me to try to come in and buy this thing at these prices. It's very extended. It's had an amazing run. I would really just follow it as far as, which direction we're going in the market, because if AMD and NVIDIA can keep rallying, then that'll tell us that we can keep looking for tech to keep rallying. With AMD, it's the same thing here. I love looking for AMD long into earnings, okay? So AMD has earnings, looks like the first week of May. The problem that I have with it is it's already rallied, right? But do you see these lines on my chart? These white lines, this is normally when I start looking for a pre-earnings rally, and we're coming up on that date in just 3-4 days. So, historically, seasonally, it's still a good time for these stocks to rally. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. I hate saying that because, technically it doesn't make sense because it's already rallied, but I think we can get one final push in these guys.
In the face of, or is that, regardless of what happens here as far as we get PCE coming up on Friday, so there is more coming in the form of inflation data and possible downside here for the market?
Oh, yeah. Whenever you're up against resistance, this is going to be one of the trickiest spots to trade because the most obvious trade is lower. Like you're at resistance. That's, it's a very risky way to look for, continued higher price action. There could be any number of reasons why these could fall. And if they do, I'll trade it both ways. So right now with Microsoft at resistance, Apple at resistance, AMD and NVIDIA, let's say that we do get some sort of, negative reason. They all start to break down below this consolidation. Hey, that's fine. We can short it back to the reversion to the mean. But overall, in the longer term, I still think over the course of April, even if we get some down days with PCE or whatever else, I think we're going to see a higher trend going into the end of April.
All right, let's go to the other side of the spectrum here. And I liked how you phrased this in your notes today, the trashy tech, or basically ARK, or anything under that umbrella would classify as trashy tech. Potentially, as you said, still a lot of upside here, but you got to be careful if you're wading into the, I don't know, DocuSigns of the world.
I don't like looking for those to the upside. I know that a lot of people are looking at those right now, because one could say, hey, they've fallen so far, they have a lot of potential upside. I don't really like to prescribe to that way of thinking. And I do think that these kinds of stocks are still going to be crushed in the long term. And when you look at SVB and what happened to that bank, that's a number one reason why, because when you have companies like, just make a list, Teladoc, for example, still losing money. Now that SVB has imploded and credit conditions keep tightening, these kinds of companies that require regular capital raises are not going to be able to get them. And so I just think that we need to keep shorting those stocks, even if they have some days where they trade higher, because ultimately long term, if they're not making money, if they're not one of these large cap, solid tech stocks, who knows how long they're going to be around.
And it's a great point in the sense that, and you've mentioned this on the show numerous times, a short rally or short covering rally is one thing, but the fundamentals and the overall trend of a stock is very much another thing. So great point. Let's wrap up on oil, which I'm just seeing right now is up 5.2% so far today. The pit session obviously closed for the day, but energy downside here, you're saying why?
So when you look at an oil chart, yes, we're getting a major rally here, but this thing has been in an overall downtrend since last June. So what I like to do is I like to focus on these overall downtrends. And when I get a rally back up into a major resistance zone, that gives me an area to short. So when you're looking at crude, you have resistance up at 76, all the way up to 80, the 82 price point. And specifically when you're looking at XLE, this has been a relative weakness sector. And so when you have a sector that has been falling over the course of several months, and then you get a rally back up into resistance, it's still a little bit low right now, down at 79. I'd prefer to short it up at 82 because that would give me just a really nice downward trend. I think we're seeing sector rotation. I think, we're continuing to see money come out of the sectors that were really hot last year. And so what I want to do is I want to swing trade and follow those downward while looking for places where money's coming in, like tech, to the upside.
These sector rotations, I'm glad you brought that up. You made a point of looking at investments in different areas for the first time in some time. Tell us a little bit about why and where that is. Where are some of those areas that you're now kind of, focusing a little bit more on that you haven't been of late?
Well, last year I was highly focused on energy with the price in crude continuing to go higher. Energy stocks were on fire. And so that was a place where I was heavily focused. Staples, I think, is really interesting right here because Staples is having a good day, but I'll still point to the fact that the longer term weekly chart patterns are trading lower. And we also have consumer discretionary that the longer term patterns are trading lower. So, you have this year weakness in energy, you have weakness in financials, weakness in discretionary. And then you say, okay, well then where's money going if those, major sectors are in downtrends? Well, that leaves primarily tech. I know there's some others, but they're not as fun to trade, right? So I love trading tech stocks. I love trading mega cap tech stocks. They're really great to trade in the options market because they have a lot of liquidity. So, I'll readily admit that there's a little bit of hopium that we end up breaking through these areas of resistance, but there's a lot of analysis and seasonality behind it as well. So that is what I'm looking for primarily this month.
Monday, hopium, always a good ingredient. Danielle Shea, VP of Options over at Simpler Trading. Amazing. I was just checking. We still have, I guess, better part of 2 weeks before we get into earnings season, but so much to come as far as opportunities in this market. Always a pleasure. Best of luck this week, and we'll speak again next Monday.
Thank you.
I love two things. Well, I love a lot about the interviews every time Danielle comes on the show. But there's two things I really love. One was the concept of whether you're swinging or day trading, having time references that matter where you start looking at a stock maybe more or less, like the X amount of days, 8 days before earnings, 21 days before, something along those lines. It makes a lot of sense. It's something I've never really looked at because we only day trade and don't swing. And I like it. The other thing I love was let's not just gloss over the trashy tech you guys just coined there, because from now on, every time we talk about these names, we're going to talk about tech, big cap tech, and trashy tech is what we're now saying as far as I'm concerned. And DocuSign, I put this one in the chat. You guys happen to mention it. Have a look at DocuSign. We're talking about, oh, well, short them when you get a chance. Look at the 59 level on DocuSign. Look at the gap down, absolute trash, makes the top here, break over under at 59, get to 60, and then every day last week, just short off to 59 level. Really? Sometimes it's not that complicated. Take crappy stock on downward trend, find resistance, short resistance level, end of story, and that's all you got to work with. So I'm really glad.
I know, me too.
I'm super glad that we just had that segment because I just added that to my iPad, and if that gets to 59 tomorrow and I don't short it, then you guys can all like slap me in the face metaphorically. You can't come here and do it because, quite frankly, it is what it is. You can't do it through the screen. I'll slap myself. If it gets there and I don't try the short, then that's ridiculous. Affirms of the world probably in play. If Affirm got to 11, I would do it. NVIDIA is now back beneath 66. I think we can get 65 with 40 minutes to go. That's a buck in the money. I'm probably going to have to say there's no trade in SI for the rest of the day. No pop to VWAP to reshort it. No pop to the low of the day to cover. It's just hanging out at $2. It's been good, but the party might be over there. It's really just been NVIDIA and that IMPP. Snapchat, no move to VWAP to get more, no move down. So I'm still in those. They're just not moving. CCL sat in the money that short, but it's not really breaking up. It's not retesting those bottoms. I'll have to start getting more shares out of CCL actually because with only 30 minutes till imbalances, we are running short on time for there to be bigger moves. The market wants to roll over again, so I don't want to give up on these shorts, but they better start going soon.
Yeah, I mean, we just did really well on Amazon, by the way, while that interview was going on. Thanks, Brendan, for that. That was a great one. We have Peter Schiff tomorrow. So Daniel Shea today. Daniel Shea today bullish on tech names. Let's ask Peter Schiff the same
What do you
question.
think he's going to say?
Yeah, I already know. Look,
I know what he's
cliffhanger. Stay tuned to see what he says tomorrow when Brendan asks him basically the exact same questions and exact opposite answers, I would assume. Although he may agree on oil. I don't know. Maybe he thinks oil's going down. We'll talk to Peter about everything. Brendan's got that all lined up. Okay, so look, this is all that I want to talk about with my trading. And I just hope that everyone sort of understands and plans out, not my style, but just that if you're going to trade, you have to have the proper risk to reward basically all of the time, right? And so like right here when we're short, our average price here was 30 and our out was 42. So that's 12 cents worth of risk to the outside here on Amazon, stopped out and out, fine, okay? Here's the same trade, average in, average in, average in, average in, same amount of shares, right? We only started taking 10 cents worth of a victory on our first spot right now, let alone getting out at 28 like we just did right now off of a 69 short. So 40 cents, 4-to-1 risk to reward. Let's see if we can hold it. Okay, right now we're back into AMD. Off 97.11 right now, watching out for a 97 break. If we break below 97, look, the funny thing is, of course, now our Micron's working, right? We're short 50s, that's good. So now we're going to win on Micron and lose on AMD. So let's wait to see if that turns out to be the case. I'm going to get another piece out here on Micron as that's starting to fall back. We haven't gotten a 30. Well, we did get a 30. This is the best we've gotten before. So we've had, when it fell down, remember we're short 50s, first out 40, next out 36, and and we have a bottom out here of 33. Let's see if we can make that again. But my attention goes right over here to the big guy, AMD for me. AMD well up today, my second best stock. Let's get a piece out as it's starting to move to the upside right now. We'll start taking some out here for a dime if we can. Watch, we just got some 17s there again, 17s. Let's see where it goes now, hopefully to the upside. Just realizing it's not a dime, we're long at 11s, not O's. So let's see if AMD wants to continue to move, make a move to the upside. We have 7 times the shares on AMD that we do on Micron. You're welcome. I got you, Brad.
Brad just said thanks for going long.
He's not going to like that I'm already out of.
It's not help. A day trader's not going to move the market like that, Brad. It's a good stock. You're in it for the long term, brother. You're fine. You might not be fine in this one if you're in it, but not a segue to bash Intel, but it did finally get to VWAP. It took a while. It took NVIDIA flushing $1. It took the market rolling over, but it did finally get down into VWAP. So I'm not taking a breakout today on Intel. That'll have to wait another day for a consolidation break. We bought the dip. I do only want to give this probably back here to like mid-30s, and then if it goes to the high of the day, great. There's not too much I like to the long side at these prices. Intel, it's up on the day. It's at the higher end of the range. When the market was barely rallying, it was just running off 29. And I tried 29. I was waiting a little bit tighter to 29 even to get it this morning. That's a great, great level for that name. IMPP feels like it's done, guys. But it hasn't broken VWAP, so I'm now trailing it out. If it breaks 22, I'm out. If it breaks the low, I'll just try to hold it for the lows down beneath that 20-cent mark. So it's generally that one entry point that you want on the reversal. Hold on to a piece past VWAP, which is all I'm trying to do here. Let's see how far it can go. NVIDIA, I don't know if we'll get a reload here, but it is holding at 265.80. I'm looking for 265 for the hour. We're getting imbalances in about 25 minutes or so. I'm hoping I'm still net short, but we'll get the early look in 5 minutes and see if there's anything doing there.
Yeah, the only one that's moving any stocks around here is Fahad. So, I mean, if that guy came in here, he would move one of these symbols for sure. But, all right, so we just got out. Like Prad was saying there, I'm out of now 40% of AMD. You know, it went in the money just to the upside, right back to the 50 period. We're only playing this off 97. And we have another place to come down here. If it does come in, we'll take some more outs. And then we've been getting out of some Amazon. That's 35 cents. There was 35 cents in the money. We just took 20 cents right now. That's where it is. Apple still $1 into the money, right now, as that's trying to float around. I still think that there could be another short here in Apple, but we'd have to break below this 158.50, which is a slight ways away. And then I am getting a little nervous here. Not nervous, but you know the market is below the 50 period, and I just went long on AMD, which is why we're trying to get out a little bit on that one. We'll see if that can come through or not. So right now, 3 shorts, man. Apple, which has been short forever off 160, that's only 5%, so we're not even really looking at that. Amazon is a reloaded position, but we're almost out of everything. We only have 20% now left of Amazon, as we were lucky enough to get VWAP there. And again, this risk, we put it on at 67. The risk was up here to 75. So that's 10 cents worth of risk, and we just captured 50 cents on the downside, 5-1 on the Amazon trade, so we're happy with that. And let's just go, man. We're getting out. I mean, I just took another piece out on Micron. Honestly, Micron can go to jail and not pass go, all right? Because honestly, man, I'm almost out of that. Let's just wait to see what AMD wants to do. Let's take another piece out here. Long 11s, out 22s right there. There it is, 25s we just got. Now we're starting to go here on AMD. We'll make everything back. I mean, we didn't lose anything in the afternoon show, so we'll see if we can make even more right now. Almost out of Amazon, 20% left, half now out of AMD. And I know we're just scalping. I would love to have there to be a move right now. Let's wait to see. We've got 2 minutes till the imbalances come out, and we will go from there. But Micron, I might just get out right now and just forget about this trade and just move on it. Micron is a green name. I mean, we have no losses here on Micron today, so it's a green name for us today. I'm going to put another piece at 45 and just get out. I don't like this name. It's not moving properly. I'd much rather cheer on the big boy right now, AMD, as that's ripping for me upside.
Oh yeah, just one quick note here. With it being 3:30, the dreams of Mullen making a significant bounce, like they fade with every minute that goes by. This is not a trade that we can hold on to and say, oh, if it holds 10 cents, we'll just hold for a bounce to 15 or 20 tomorrow. Nope, we're day trading. That means it bounces now or we punch out at the end of the day. So I haven't been offering anything that's sub like 10.3. I'll get 10 ones, 2s. For 1-1s, some 2s, some 3s on the way up here. If it does make a bigger move, fantastic. But I feel like we got This one's just sort of wasting our time. If it doesn't break the level, great, I'll go back to it tomorrow. Square, I said I would short this one if it got up to 66. It's getting a little bit late in the day. There's still some time for it to set up, for it to get up here, break 65 with any kind of a real move, get into that, close to that 66 level, 65 half. But I need it up there. I'm not shorting it almost a full $1 away from my out, not at 330. There's not enough time for it to work. That's why I'm into Intel with a relatively tight stop, because I think it can be a decent one. Oh, come on. Why can't NVIDIA be doing what Meta is doing? Meta is...
Don't worry about Meta.
Meta's down it just flushed at 204.
What?
So it went 204 to 203 in the last little bit. So this is actually making a good drop here. 04 was a good level. If this doesn't hold the 03 area, that was a key price earlier. So this could be like a late day. If we get a rollover in the market, Meta under 203 is going to set up for me. Hopefully that'll mean NVIDIA is looking pretty spicy as well. I haven't checked in on Tesla. Still nothing on Tesla. Not above VWAP, not breaking 193. There's a reason that we're not looking at Tesla recently. Should have focused on Rivian more this morning, actually.
I was waiting, but it never got to that 14 level. I mean, it's the only short name. I had Rivian and Tesla.
Look at the bounce, though.
I have both shorts.
The bounce is
the
more
bounce long.
Look at where Rivian bounced
that's
today.
the thing.
That's why I'm more mad about this, because I like the shorts above 14, like give it to 14 quarter. But the bottom, last week's low, is there's your support. There's it twice. It bounces right off it and gives you a halfway retracement. It happens, man. Like sometimes I'm looking at Tesla instead. End of story. It's a mistake, but you pick the stock and then you got to live with it because you can't focus on everything. I'm asking about Google's trade alliance there. You just got in 102s. I'm assuming you couldn't have just got in 102s. You got the bottom.
Congratulations!
That's the low of the day. You got 101.98. The low was 93. But this market feels like it wants to roll over here. So I don't know if you're day trading or swinging it, but if we roll over, obviously we're going to come back into that support, and this is what it looks like if it breaks 02s. Your flat bottom down to 100.
Yeah.
So this is like Google is at the top of the range and threatening to break the consolidation down. Still has 100 for support, but that's a great price you got. Congratulations for having it. I wish I had longs off some of those lows. I had NVIDIA, got out of it. Now I'm sitting here hoping Intel will go up, which is not usually the position I'm in the afternoon.
Just got a 41 fill. Yeah, we're starting. Oh, did Brendan there?
Wow, that's huge.
Wish I didn't see that number.
That's
Wow, it's huge.
that's a game breaker right there.
It's 38 million to sell.
And that's what they call a nothing burger. Nothing burger.
Yeah, normally, so if you're just joining us for the first time, we get excited if that's like maybe greater than 500 million. So we want to thank Financial Juice. And what we're talking about right now, and we keep on doing the same thing over and over for everybody, but I apologize. These are the imbalances, right? So right now it's just for NYSE ARCA. At 350, these are all going to light up for NASDAQ and NYSE. And when they come out, then you're going to see buys and sells on different names heading into the close. So right now, everything added up from Financial Juice must have, someone running around the floor. And it's just NYSE stocks adding up whatever they see there. And right now it's net 38 million to sell. That's like, absolutely nothing. So we'll wait to see. So right now I'm not super influenced by any of that, but we'll wait to see if we do get influenced by it eventually. All right, so Mullen right now 15 cents in the money and still going to the downside. I might as well take a bid here at 34. Why not? If we can get it, we'll take it right there. Amazon also trying to flush again. We just got a 41 fill. We're going to hold out for that one. And then the trade that maybe comes in, maybe doesn't, is AMD, which it looks like it's going to. We're bidding 97.02 or so. If that fills, then I'm only going to give this, VWAP is here at 90. I want to give it a little bit below 97 to see if we can dance with it. But yeah, that VWAP's at 90. So if you want to know my out, you can pretty much gamble and win on if you guess where my out is on AMD if we are wrong. But again, look at all these profits, right? 97.10, out 25s, out 24s, out some 16s and 17s as well. But there it is. There's the fill rate now as we crack through 02s and fill 01s. My fill was 02. Average price 05. It's going to be a 15-cent hit. So if this comes down, well, cool with that, man. But now the market's breaking below breaking below the 50 period and just trying to see if we want to hold out through this 12,800. So NASDAQ coming in on that whomping number of 38 million to sell. Let's see if it goes, man. But Apple right now at $1.20 in the money, small position. Amazon still decent position, starting to go down. And Micron finally, as Neil said, this is a tank for Micron. So, hey, look.
No, but it is. Like every stock's different.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying you're right. So now Micron now finally starting to come in. So let's just be patient with it. See if we can grab a little bit of a lower push here on Micron down in. And look, when this is your trade and these are your outs, I don't really care what share size you're using. It's a win. So right there, we'll take that. We put that in our pipe and smoke it. It's a nice win here for Micron.
Yeah, I should have stuck to the shorts. Neil goes long Intel. Neil loses 5 cents on Intel. It's like, yeah, just short it next time. Not that I didn't believe in the short. Look, it's flat in the day into a strong market. It is what it is. But I did want to say, I may be short IMPP, but I do sort of agree with the notion. Whoa, why did I get more shares? Oh, that's right. Never mind. I just got more Mullen shares long. I'll get to that in a second. Maybe didn't want that to slate, but it doesn't.
Mine.
It does. I thought I'd canceled it, but at this point, who cares? It might not break that 10. But AMPP, I might be short off this level, but the news was actually pretty solid, of course, that their listed net value could be 700% above the current market cap. So I don't necessarily think this won't be a decent trade in tomorrow's trade. It could always, if it breaks out from here, you do have another big move to the upside, potentially to 35 cents. It just rejected this level. That's why I'm short as a day trade. But if it's all of a sudden breaking out at 25 cents tomorrow, I'm all for that kind of a trade. I actually wrote it down to make sure that I don't forget it. If you're just tuning in, I don't really like Mullen. I just like a few million shares on the bid at 10 cents. If it gets to 1 cent, I wouldn't be terribly surprised. But it's too late in the day. I shouldn't have taken that last fill. I thought I had canceled it. I was at like 10.02. I got that 0.2. Everything rounds down apparently. But I do have to get out of this. So 10 breaks. I'm not holding through there. I probably won't short it either because it's way too late in the day for that.
Yeah, I just took a bid here on Amazon as it just made a move down again. I'm just going to take this 35 fill, so we just did that. We are going to get stepped out here on AMD, unfortunately, if it does take those levels. You guys know what we're talking about. I hear some talk about DWAC. DWAC did just make a move to the upside here, breaking through 1360, but it's just the high of the day move, right? So here's what DWAC was sort of looking like, nothing. And then there's the break from the morning of 1350. So we'll keep our ear to the ground, well, Brendan will anyways. I'm not seeing anything here that would spark this, but I guess I don't know what would spark this, man. I mean, the man himself claimed that he was going to get arrested last week. I guess he's on borrowed time here, and that hasn't happened yet. So we'll wait to see. I actually think like an arrest or something. I'm just talking about President Trump, right?
It's going up.
That's what I mean. So maybe there is something there, and then we can bring back, and he'll start tweeting out. What do they call them? The retruths or something when you retweet them? So we'll see what happens there. But DWAC, I just bring it up to everyone's attention. Remember, okay, there goes AMD, by the way. Whether or not it holds or not, it just broke down. So we will flush ourselves down the toilet again for that AMD trade. Still up on the stock, but yeah, that was a downside move. And it's funny because my net's not changing that much because we're short Apple, Amazon, and Micron. We just tried it there on AMD, and AMD was good until it wasn't. So there's the last little drop down there for AMD. Our average price was 97.04, so we get out at a 90 break, so it's 15 cents like we called right there on the downside. Maybe it's a reversal into the short, but what I was getting at with DWAC is don't forget, if you like the stock and you're willing to take a risk, your downside right now is only 40%. Because as long as this doesn't de-SPAC, it has to give you back 10 bucks. So that's the way it works. So if you're, double check it. I don't want to, we don't, give financial advice. The last thing I want to do is this thing de-SPACs and opens up the next day at $4. But you got to be very, very careful because as far as I know, man, every other SPAC is valued at 10. So that's what this name should at least give you back. So if you did think there was some decent risk to reward in the space, in the name, then you could take it right here knowing that your bottom price is 10 bucks. So I don't mind DWAC, keep going, but it's Digital World Acquisition Corp. Yeah. So there it is, man. Still has not de-SPACed.
And to add to that, just make sure you know, I don't remember what the extension date was for them to close the deal, but there was an extension recently, or at least in the last little bit. So you want to know when that date is so that you can at least line up your trade risk to reward. I'm now trailing NVIDIA 265. If it holds here, I think I just get out. Probably not going to re-enter that trade. Let's hold to see if we can get to the low of the day. Mullen is now 10 cents on the bid, so You know, I'm long at 10.0003. And if it breaks, then I'll get out at like 9999 or something ridiculous like that. I did have to, not have to, but I did just cover some CCL. I saw it get up to 885 here. It looked like it had a chance to break out. Let's trim some. We're getting a little bit long in the tooth here at the end of the day. Not a big enough pop to re-enter, so I can cancel. I'll cancel. I don't really need an offer out there. There's no point. I'm just going to get out at 75 if it gets down there. And a similar thing, we got out of SI. Didn't seem to want to break past 2. Was able to get some 197s. Just popped on the bid. It's actually bouncing here, but it was finding some strength, so gave up that name. 250. Watch out for a 250 break tomorrow on the stock. You know, it was a 220 on Friday. It then made a move off there. Double top broke out, and then sort of a similar thing happened. The 250 was a previous level. It's made it one time. Let's look for a double top at that level tomorrow, which could set up a break. Huge short interest, which does mean I am willing if it breaks out 250, I'll probably take that trade to the long side, but you'll see me short it before it gets there too.
All right.
What was that? Did I get trailed? Did I just put that trail?
Ugly closed on deck? I don't know. I mean, it's 340 right now. I mean, we could be going to the downside, I guess, as the NASDAQ's starting to break a little bit, but I don't know, man. I mean, I wish something would really happen. I mean, we're getting a nice little banger on Micron, man. I mean, again, ye of little faith. I'm sitting here trash talking this name, and it just turns out to be an NFT. You know, we have the short right there, beautiful short, right back into VWAP and continuing to make a move downside right now for Micron. So yeah, there it is, man. We just took out VWAP. We're holding. I mean, it just kept falling down as I was short on or long on AMD. This one just cracked lower. So there it is right now. And I'm thinking about putting an offer right here. I'm not thinking about it. I'm going to do it right now. $60.21. If we break back above that, I'm going to try to get out. And by try to get out, I mean we'll get out as we just put that order. And I got to cancel my Mullen order as well, because if you're looking at Mullen.
Stop.
Yes, stop, sorry. I canceled the order because I didn't get filled. So there comes Mullen right back in to $10 again. It's not going to break that today. I don't know. I mean, it's 400 million shares. But the thing is, though.
It might.
Because it's short sell restricted, you're not, I mean, someone's going to have to empty the position that they have right there.
And would they at 340? That's
what I'm saying. I don't see Mullen breaking.
Well, I got to take the first top anyways.
Yeah, so that's Mullen right now. All right, and you guys, honestly, I was waiting right here. Like, look at that bottom, 98.10. You know, it went to 98.15. So, oh man, frustrations abound right now. But we're in the we're in the mid 20s right now. Hopefully we can get a little bit of a drop back down in, get a 20 fill or something on Amazon. I mean, Amazon's ho-hum, a 4-to-1 risk to reward winner right now for us on Amazon. So you know what? With that being said, I'm going to take a 25 fill if I can get it here back in for Amazon. I just, you know, would rather take 25 than 29, so let's see if we can get it back right now on the downside here for Amazon with only now 18 minutes to go in the show. Yeah, let's do a likes call.
Hola, like and subscribe today.
So shout out to Steve G right there for the likes call. Katrina's not, maybe she's in today. I don't know. We'll have to find her. 725. I didn't even hit the like button myself. There it is right there. Guys, we have 4,600 people watching, and just right here, 734. If you can come to the screen, I'll show you exactly where you hit the like button. Brad, right there. Thank you so much. Hit this like button. Not that anybody's new to YouTube here, but let's get at least 1,000 likes. I mean, you know, I feel like we've deserved it a little bit. Good talk here with Danielle Shea. Let's hit that like button if we can. And there it is right there. Let's go. Oh, my God.
Oh, my
God. Because we get that 25 fill right there at VWAP. So good out. We're now very light on everything as we're just looking to top out the day right now with this trade. So Micron, 32 cents in the money, looking like it wants to come out soon as well. Funny because our AMD is all the way back, but that's okay. It went down to 70s there. Maybe we should have just waited for that 50 period, but nice move on AMD, in and out on that one. We actually wind up making money in the afternoon on this stock. Despite that, we had some great shorts right there, and then a long that, you know, tried to work but didn't really. It's more this Amazon trade that really kept me afloat here with some nice shares back down to the downside.
Yeah, you have to pick your spots this afternoon. Like, to me, there were names to be had, but we didn't actually get like a flush into the low of the day. I got trailed out. I put it in the chat that I had my trail. Once we got down there, I told you guys actually that I had the trail in NVIDIA 65s. It just came back out. So now to the NVIDIA trade. That was probably like this at 67 was probably it. There was one other that I should have had. I shorted 03s, but really the better level the better level was 04 on Meta. That was Friday afternoon support, and then you saw it just kind of get up there, did the over-under at 4, and then fell to the downside. So a bit of a missed play on that. And then, of course, IMPP, the penny stock, 21s. Looks like it's going to hold 21. So pretty strong day for the stock. Holding up at a higher low is always a decent sign. If it gaps up again, or at least holds above 20 tomorrow morning, 25 breaks in play. And yes, Spin One Master. He just said this. I worked at the Fed. Long term, we have real trouble on the horizon. We'll see. I'm pretty sure our guest tomorrow is going to agree with you, but you're going to have to tune in to find out what Mr. Schiff has to say. My guess is he might be a little bit critical of El Federales, but you never know. We'll find out. If you're watching, just one other name.
Good call, Neil.
Well, you think sometimes you go out on a limb.
You think Peter Schiff's going to be bullish on the equity market?
You never know. No, not really. But here's, I was saying this in the chat to some people. I don't care whether you agree with him or not. Like, you know, his views, in terms of views on the actual monetary system and fundamentally how it works, it's like they're refreshing because some people actually have a deeper understanding of how monetary policy works, and we take a lot of things for granted. Some stuff you don't learn in an economics textbook about the way money is created. It's worthwhile. It doesn't mean you have to be all in on gold. It just means that you should at least be aware of it. Mullen, that's the first available pop. I'll just take whatever it is. Oh, goodness. It's not. What's frustrating about this is how much you want to bet. 10 cents doesn't break, it'll make the move to 11, either after market or in the pre-market tomorrow. Like, if it doesn't break 10, it's going to be a good long. It's just completely useless to us who have to be flat in the next 15 minutes. But I'm not making anything on this trade unless it actually went up to at least 1/3 of a cent or 1/2 a cent. It's just not happening today on Mullen, but I'll be back for it tomorrow. I thought there'd be something on this trade at 10 cents today. It was great at 20. Still could see something tomorrow, but a bit of a disappointment there. It's kind of rejecting any kind of a level. The breakdown could be nice, but it's probably not happening, as Sean said.
I mean, I feel like Mullen's been a great trade, but you had to take a hell of a lot of shares and then scalp it out for a very, very small amount of money. So unless you're using a platform that charges absolutely zero commissions and things like that, which there are some out there. I mean, I'm not going to name them. You guys know which ones. I think it's tradable, but again, I think we are right by saying that it's just going to break those levels after market. So there's just too many shares there available right now. Okay, so let's go. Yeah, I'm not reloaded on anything, or I'm not really doing anything right now. Just kind of doing what I think everybody's trying to do, and that is just kind of wait. Wait and see if there's any sort of action coming through here today. And if there is, great, but I'm not sure there's going to be. There is that close that we have in just a couple minutes with the imbalances. That could hit something, it could also not. So I know I'm just double talking, but right now, there's not a heck of a lot going on. Micron is about breaking through 60, so that's a hell of a trade right here, and we'll try to hold on to that one. I mean, you want to talk about, and shout out to Ponzi Fonzie again, man, because honestly, glad you recognize some of these winners right here. I mean, this is what we're doing every day, hopefully on the show for you, is providing entertainment and providing bangers. Like, honestly, AMD, whether or not you had the same fills as me, that's pretty much a flat trade, man. AMD, I made money on it, but I can understand why that would be a flat trade for many of you. Amazon, huge winner. That's a 5-to-1 ratio. That one, you guys should have made money there as well. And then this Micron never went against us. So this is another money-making move right here for Micron. So I'm having a great afternoon. I hope you are. And I want to thank everybody, especially you, Steve G, for motivating and getting people to hit that like button. Because, hey, man, without everyone out there, we wouldn't have a show. So I want to thank everybody for that and for really making it something that's special to me, Neil Brendan, and everybody here at Trader TV Live. We love everybody that's watching. And again, thanks for all the great ideas and just for supporting us, because we have support also. Like, we're on a trading floor, so we can spend time talking with other traders. I can talk to Neil. Been sitting beside this guy for like 90 years. So the whole point is that
not quite that long.
We have like 87 or something. Sidney Crosby. We have the advantage of doing that. And I know trading's a lonely game. Shout out to Dan Emmons, by the way. I saw your setup on Twitter. Pretty sick setup right there. It can be a lonely game, so I really want to thank everybody for joining in and watching us right now, and hopefully enjoying some of the entertainment and some of the bangers that we have on for you right now. But what does that mean?
I just got an idea. You just because Dan Emmons in his setup just gave me an idea. We should do like the coolest setup contest. So we can just get so what we should do is we should get everybody to send us your setups, and then I don't know, we'll have to file them somewhere. Maybe we'll use Discord for this.
Yeah,
and then
don't
we can have
send
a big,
them yet.
Oh, let's
Yeah,
figure it out first. Don't send them yet, but we'll figure something out, and then whoever has the coolest setup, we'll try to figure something out. But let's get the ball rolling
come on
it.
the show.
Yeah, and then we'll have maybe do like a guest
Yeah, you can
guest
show us
segment.
the setup on the show.
You know, show us how you have like a framed picture of. Oh, I'm just kidding. But seriously, it would be pretty cool.
Neil.
I've seen some ridiculous ones, and I had this conversation with Obi, who has he has a few charts behind. If you can't see Obi, he has a couple charts there.
Not many.
And for some people, that's what you need. You need to have oil. You need to have You need to have DXY. You got to have treasuries. You got to have UVXY. You need everything to get in the sense of the market, and that's what he does. So that works for him. And maybe he wants to complain about more screen space to the floor manager there. I don't know if he will, but yeah, you do what works for you. Have a good setup. And I'm probably not going to put anything new on. But in 30 seconds, we're going to get the imbalances. So I don't think it's going to be anything. It's probably a nothing burger, but we'll have them up here just in case. I just canceled my reload on NVIDIA because, quite frankly, if NVIDIA goes back, if it goes back $2 to the upside, I don't want that short again. So no more NVIDIA, even if it does pop.
I was going to say, we're coming out right now with these imbalances in only 20 seconds. So I have no idea what the heck Sky Fairy just said right there. Shout out to Prad in the back. Sky Fairy, where are you here in the chat? Oh, here it is right here. We only have 8 seconds to go. I'll show it to you in a minute. He said he hears Prad through Sean. So I was going to say puff, puff, pass, bro. But okay, here it is right now. BAC, WFC, Banks, Intel. Let's see what WFC is doing. Nice little sell. We'll wait till Brendan. It's going to be a sell number, I would assume, right now. Apple with the sell. So hallelujah. As Apple's going to go right back down to 150. We have $1.50 in the money right now. There it is. 1.4 billion to sell. So that gets us going a little bit. Amazon to sell. Uh-oh, we did it again. Nice little move to the downside. Like we said, man, you might not be copying our trades, but understand sort of what we're looking at. That was a nice level for me on Amazon right there. We stepped out there, but stepped right back in. Nice move to the downside. Oxy with the sell. As you can see, the majority of these are sell and heading lower. Intel is also a sell. Is that even moving? Not really. Nope. So that's what we got so far. I'm going to exit out of some of these positions because they're nice ones.
Yeah, look, I'm holding on to a couple of shorts, but at this point, I don't see anything on the big tech that screams setup. Intel, it did move down. I stopped out for a 5-cent hit on the one long I had this afternoon. Mullen doesn't really count, penny stock, but it's kind of inside the pocket, 5-cent range. Reliable Rudy wants to know what the Xpeng imbalance is, so I will sort by alphabetical, and you guys will see me do this live. I'm unlikely to take anything new, so let's just go over to Xpeng. There's so many names in this market. XPEV, it's a tiny only 1.7, 1,700 shares. To the buy side there. So that's the NYSE one. I still have ARC up there. That doesn't matter. 1,700 shares buy and balance on Xpeng. That's pretty much meaningless, but the Chinese ADRs tend not to have big imbalances, right? They don't have a lot of activity in the afternoon, so you don't usually see an imbalance on that anyways. Let's just check out where it is. I still, I respect sort of the entry and the line that you have where you like what the resistance is put up. Fail break at 10, wick top. If it breaks the 50 period down, you got room to $8. Downward trending stock. Makes sense to short those pops. I'm assuming you're looking at something like this. That's the ugliest trend line, but I didn't want to take too much time drawing it. You guys kind of get the idea. So you're shorting, I guess, somewhere around here into that top. I like it. I'll probably, if this gets up back into like 10, to me that screams a short. As a day trader, you want to short it as it gets up there, take advantage of those wick tops. And I wrote down, because we talked about crappy tech or shoot, what was the term those guys coined again? Trashy tech. If DocuSign gets to $59, it's a short tomorrow. 59 into 60. That's the short on DocuSign. If you were tuning in, Daniel Shea and Brendan both said trashy tech can be still shorted. Mentioned DocuSign. I pulled it up. I'm like, are you kidding me? That is free money up at 59 bucks. Now, it might not work the next time it happens, but you still got to try it. Well, you don't have to try it, but I'm going to try it because I like that level, and I like to see. It doesn't just give you 50 cents. Like every time it gets here, it's giving you $2 to the downside minimum. Like sometimes it's going $3 or $4. Your risk is $1, 59 to 60. So that risk to reward, it's there. You just take it till it stops working. So that's what I plan on doing. Of course, now saying that, it'll never reach that price again. I'm just gonna have to get out of the last of CCL here. Doesn't look like it wants to make that flush back into the fresh lows. It wasn't a very good long off 9. You had to have it the first time early at the open. I had the second long, not very good, decent scalp. The short reversal was pretty solid though. When big levels break, you got to be willing to reverse. CCL, not much in the afternoon, but it was kind of a clean breakdown at that 9 level.
Okay, so more of the same for me, man. We just got out of Amazon. It went lower there. We were waiting for it, and I was like, if it takes the 50 period right there, because it was already at VWAP, it took the 50 period. So we get out, and again, that's a 4-to-1 for us on that name. So pretty happy, obviously, with the performance there for us on Amazon. Sorry. Yep. And then Apple, the same kind of look right now. If it takes this 50 level, I thought I was 60 level. I was looking at, yeah. So we just keep bouncing off right now the 200 period, which is 50. I'm just going to up it to that candle, which is 60. So that's going to be a level of concern for me a little bit there as we go. So that's what we're looking at right now for Apple. And then Micron 07. Sorry, 10s, I guess. It's at 07. 10 is the fill that we're looking for right now on Micron. So we'll see if that can come out, and if it does, all good, man. We'll sit there and see about taking that fill. So that's so far so good, man. What a great trade on Micron. I hope you guys can see that right there. I was getting upset at it, but again, now when you're not trading a stock for a while, and I was actually talking to Obi about this and how I was telling him, like, good job focusing basically just on Amazon, but I think that focusing on one name is a mistake, and we talked about that as well. You know, I don't really know Micron as much, and I was jealous of, I guess jealous, yeah, but of the NVIDIA trade, just jealous of the movement in it, but this actually gave me just as much, I mean, I wound up making
eventually moves.
Maybe just as much. Yeah, it eventually does. But again, anyways, nice move down for, yes, sir. Nice move down for Micron, and still even going lower right now. So yeah, man, that was a great take here in the afternoon. We took that trade at about 240, and right now it's a huge move, not huge move, but still, man, we'll take, it's 60 cents. 60 cents down on a $60 stock. We'll take that, man. 1%. Nice downside move there for Micron, in the money 1%, and still making a move lower. So yeah, for me, it's a great trade, and I hope it is for you guys as well.
Oh,
and
55 must be
Apple,
reversed.
nice move. Amazon, obviously now creating that lower move here. We got out at 40 as Amazon's continuing its extension, but what a great day. We're going to finish our day
Oh my God.
at the highest spot we've been at all day. So it's going to be a good one. And hey, if I'm finishing at the highest spot, I hope that means that you're able to make some money with us as well. Oh, Amazon, you win. I mean, not really I win, because you're one of my #1 stocks today. But yeah, you win on that one, man. You got me out at the 50 period, and there's the move back into the close. Neil, it's only 4 minutes left, my guy.
Only 4 minutes to go. At 55, I saw a lot of things pair off there. Some of the banks actually stayed to the sell side, but nothing is now over $1 million. That always happens. Sorry, that mostly happens at 355. A lot of times you'll see a lot of those imbalances pair. NVIDIA actually came right back up to 66, right back to 65 was probably the best price, unless you're just sitting on the bid at 64, 67. But I'm not going to re-enter that trade up there. There was no imbalance. Had there been maybe like a sell imbalance or something, I would have shorted that pop. IMPP, I still think this is going to end up, the short was good, but this feels pretty solid how it's holding 21 cents here in VWAP. There's a big, it's not a big buyer, but it's just been buying at that price, but there's no reason to still be in this. It does not want to break this, so there's no point. Like, if it breaks down, it probably happens at 4 o'clock, so I'll just get out of that. If it breaks tomorrow, and I'm talking about the upside, I'd be looking for that, the 24 top here. If 24.25 goes, there's a lot of room for IMPP. We'll revisit Mullen tomorrow. Something interesting happens there. And one last one. It didn't quite give us a fill or an opportunity, but Square. I felt like if there's one stock that we should have talked more about today, it's probably Block, but we didn't trade Block, so that's the reason we didn't cover it. But it is very close. On the short seller report, it's caught a bid, but that lower high was here at 65.5, 66. That is the level. We're strong into it without actually breaking that. That is the only price I'm looking at that isn't 6-0. It will be up here between 65 and 66. It's the only place to short that isn't filling in the gap, and if it breaks out, all kinds of chance to go. Every time there's a short seller report, if you get a higher low the second day, don't be afraid to go long. It's just usually they find a bottom because that's when they're covering their short, and then you want to ride the trend to the upside. Might have been low-hanging fruit, but I didn't even look at Square this morning, and what a great trend it was. Into a weak market, Square is going to close pretty much at the high.
Yeah, I was going to say better to be late than not come at all. And right now, Micron right now, nice move to the downside right here. You can see we just covered right now. So this short, whoops, on that one, we can delete that right there. But this short right here, whoops, on Micron coming in right there and then covering it right there. A good little short for us on Micron to end of the day. And then you want to check out an NFT. I mean, what about this, man? Look at Apple. Although it was only 5% left, I know. It's not a huge trade, but here's the long cash in. Here's the short. Get out at 58.10. Get out at 58.10 again. So a couple outs there as we hold all day and get that bottom trade right there for Apple. And look, we talked about going long at 158. Maybe tomorrow we'll listen to that ourselves and see about going long. We just don't have enough time left in this market. So we do give up Amazon, guys. But look exactly where Amazon went, man. It went to the high side right there. Nice trade for us on Amazon. But as you can see, we are clearly out of that name. And I wish we weren't, because then, I mean, you know what? All hail everybody out there, man. Thank you so much for the chat. Thanks for a lot of these trade ideas. There it is right there. Amazon to the downside. I couldn't be happier with this. Even though I'm out, all that it's done is, you know, gave me some validity to the ideas that I have. And I mean, the more I sit here and trade, the better I become. I was actually sitting there with Brendan as they were working on that flickering, which it looks like got a new video card. Looks like it might have been the key there. And it's just like I'm getting... I was telling Brendan, I'm feeling so much better about trading these days, and like some of these calls that I made, absolutely insane. So it's great to see that this move is happening again to the downside. So like, you know, a little bit more time in the day and we would have still been holding this. So really proud of ourselves. With only 15 seconds left, who's on the bell? Mark, Fahad. We only got 10 seconds left now. And there it is right here. Here comes Fahad with only 5 seconds now left. I was about to get it myself. On the bell. 3, 2, 1. I like that. I like that. That's the kind of that I like right into there. So nice little ringing of the bell. Thank you, Sir Fahad, for that. As yeah, that close kind of caught me off guard there. All of a sudden,
it happened
the
fast.
bell was in. But again, thanks so much for all the love and the support there this afternoon. It was a great afternoon.
I didn't want to interrupt you, but the Spinomaster had a hilarious comment. He's like, "Thank you guys for everything you do. I love you, no matter what the SEC says." I'm like, what did they tell you? No. Doesn't matter.
Bring it.
The SEC won't let me be.
Let me be me. Can't you see?
Like there's
It
some
ain't
lines.
nothing but the SEC.
There's going to be lines that we can drop for sure. Whatever, man. The SEC doesn't care what a couple of day traders do. At least I hope not. But the market itself, Brendan, it's a bit mixed today. I'm pretty sure. Let's see how the board is.
The SEC might come after us for the 8-ball.
They're never. No. From our cold dime. No. Come at us for the 8-ball. You want this? You're going to have to come through us, straight up.
Yeah.
All right, let's make it official. It was just a NASDAQ that ends the day in negative territory, about 0.5% there for the composite, 0.75% for the NASDAQ downside. So everything else not bad, though. Look at the Russell 2000 there. Obviously, we're all, or most of the regional banks are, so 1.3 to the upside, leading the way as far as gainers, 0.6 for the Dow, 0.17 for the S&P. So all in all, could have been a lot worse, guys. Big day tomorrow, though. Looking forward to it.
I almost have like a sneaky request. It'd be nice if natural gas was on that, because something really stunk today, and that was natural gas.
How much was it down?
Dude, it's down another 5%. It's like that's a downward trend that is unbroken, man. I know we don't really talk about it every now and then, but I know a lot of you guys will look at it. And we're equity traders, so we're going to trade equity, and that's just how it is. But there's other things out there. But darn, natural gas is having some trouble. And don't forget about some trashy tech. We can short pops in trashy tech tomorrow as well.
Wow, what a show, man. Thank you so much for all the love and the hate in the chat. We like it all. And thanks, Brendan. Great show with Daniel, or great show, but great interview with Daniel Shea there. More to come tomorrow. I mean, if Brendan's looking forward to it, so are we here with Peter Schiff. It should be a good one tomorrow. Big shout out to Sharif and, as I throw my pen around, to Sharif and Max on the midday show. Max's first time doing the whole show. I think he did a bang-up job. Thanks, Prad, Fahad, everybody, Mark, Rob, everybody in the back that's been helping us throughout our journey. And obviously a big shout out to Bears versus Bulls.
Always.
I mean, sometimes we don't give enough to that. Okay, Brendan, anything hitting the wires now, or we can wrap this up?
No, I think we're good. I saw a quote on Ferrari that came out earlier.
I saw that too.
That was kind of interesting, but Prad was actually laughing at that earlier, so I thought it was kind of funny. Ferrari's not down with self-driving cars. So
that's what it was.
In case you wondered.
I mean, imagine being in that Spider or something like that. You're going all this, self-driving, 200 miles an hour. Anyways, okay. For everybody here at Trader TV Live, sit back in the Ferrari. But if you have it, don't expect that self-driving update. We will see you tomorrow at 8:30. Everyone, rest well.